Good morning, crazy people, and other YouTube people who might not be crazy, but you're on YouTube. You qualify. Good morning, TG. I'm glad you're having a good day, except for it being all achy out. Oh, I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning. So I've been up for about 5 hours. And there's that awkward silence that happens when Kodi does a show by herself. Yes, well. Good morning, Kodi, and everyone who isn't Kodi, right? Yes. Good morning to everybody who's in a place where it's morning, and good afternoon to people who are in a place that it is not morning, or good evening. I guess Australia would be evening, right? Yeah, TG, I don't sleep much. I really don't. I actually, well, no, it was about 2:30 when I fell asleep last night. Good morning, Darlene. Thank you. I appreciate that. It sounds so weird. It still sounds weird to say hi to you because we actually have the same name. First name. I hope you're doing well this morning, Darlene, and I hope you have a good day. Yeah, it's like saying hi to myself. And, when you say hello to yourself, then you qualify for the higher level of crazy. So kind of concerns me sometimes, but I'm okay with that. Yeah, I fell asleep sometime around 2:30 this morning. Woke up at 4. And whenever I end the live, I'll probably take a nap. Aw, Mark sucks. Well, I mean, it depends on your job, I suppose, because I've had a few jobs that I really loved and a few that I just didn't want to even go to ever. Yes, TG, we know. That's why we get along so well. And now that you're around, I don't get yelled at nearly half as much as I used to. Oh, yeah. On Victoria's show, like every 10 minutes it was Kodi. Now it's Scarlett. I'm like, haha, it's not me this time. Hi, Ted. Eggplant boy. He just woke up to go pee, huh? What did he do when he came back to bed, Scarlett? Because I'm sure that's not why you were awake. Been there, done that. So that kind of thing didn't get John in trouble. What got him in trouble is when I worked all night. I came home, I went to go to sleep, and 20 minutes later he was shaking me and going, "Wake up, I'm lonely." No, go away or you're dead. Yeah, well, I'm glad you like your job. I'm sorry it's messed up. And at least if you're busy, the day goes by faster, right? I mean, like, I loved working at the pet stores that I worked at. I loved working at the barn when I was a kid, working with horses. I really liked working loss prevention for Walmart because back then, my boss said Walmart was painted gray for a reason. If I accidentally had to stand on someone's head, it was okay. So, which I actually had to do once. So that was fun. But regular retail, like cashiering, that sucked. I hated cashiering. I hated working at a bank. What else did I like? The fuck jobs have I done? I liked working in the call center for the catalog company. That was fun, but I didn't like the Value Vision TV channel shopping network calls, and I did not like the Montgomery Ward Direct. TG. Well, you can imagine it, but I was the most invisible fat redhead in Walmart, let me tell you. People would shoplift right next to me. And I'd just walk around the store with them. I'd strike up a conversation, walk around the store with them, and then stop them as they went out the door. And send them to jail. It was great. I only had one person pull a weapon on me, actually pull it on me. And he didn't get very far because there was a very large Marine that was in line in the registers. And I was chasing the guy. I chased the guy all through Walmart. Yeah, my fat ass chased the guy through Walmart. I even jumped over some guys that were assembling a toolbox in the middle of the floor. And the Marine saw me chasing him. And I'm like, Walmart loss prevention, get out of my way. And the Marine just grabbed the guy and slammed him up against the wall. The guy had a knife in his hand. The Marine disarmed him in like 3 seconds flat. And yeah, off to jail he went. Marine was hot too. He was like 6'5". I was like, hell yeah. But yeah, he had a girlfriend. That sucked. But the people that trained me, the two guys that trained me for loss prevention, they've had weapons pulled on them. One of them got stabbed. And he was upper level crazy because he looked at the guy and goes, do it again, you asshole. So the guy did. So he actually got stabbed twice. It was a very small, like half an inch blade, so he didn't really get any internal injuries or anything. It didn't hit anything vital, but I'm like, yeah, you're nuts. I did have somebody that had a gun in her purse. That was interesting. She had a 38 long nose revolver in a purse, no safety, holster, nothing, and it was loaded. That was fun. She actually had the smarts not to pull it out of her purse. She just kind of backed away from her purse and looked at me, and I'm like, what? And she's like, I have a gun in my purse. And I was ready to throw my handcuffs at her head if she reached for it. So, and when I'm mad, I have really good aim. So yeah, I would have nailed her right in the face. But she backed off, and And when I was like, why would you bring a gun into Walmart? She said, well, I didn't want to leave it in the car with my teenage son. I'm sitting there thinking, do you not have a trunk? What the fuck? So yeah, she went to jail. What's really funny is she was Walmart's most wanted for stealing photo developing, of all things. She would drop off like 3 or 4 rolls of film. And if you've ever had to get film developed, you know how expensive that shit got. And, a day later, she'd come back to pick it up. I do have good aim, TG. My aim is amazing. When I'm mad, yeah. But she would go and pick up her pictures and tell them that she still has shopping to do. So she would pay for it all together at the register. And she would walk out of the store with hundreds of dollars for the photo developing. Because she'd walk around the store and just stick the photo envelopes in her purse. And nobody could catch this. She was doing this for months. I mean, the photo lab had actually printed off pictures of herself. She had very few pictures of herself in her photos, but they managed to find some and print them off. And like every Walmart in South Carolina had pictures of this woman, And I ended up busting her stealing buttons, of all things, at 3:00 in the morning. I was walking around. I was just, every once in a while I'd pull a late night because people think that, loss prevention is not there late at night. So I'm walking around and I actually spotted her because I liked her boots. She had these really kick-ass boots on. And we were in the craft department. She's pulling all these buttons off the button display. And I just was like, why does she look familiar? I'm like, I know I don't know her because I didn't know anybody in town. I'm like, so she was just I don't know, it was energy or something. So I followed her around. It was around Valentine's Day, and all the you had the Valentine's aisle at Walmart where all this stuff is, and she went walking down the aisle, popping buttons off the cards and just tossing the cards into the Valentine's Day stuff. So I walked behind her and picked them all up and stopped her at the door. She actually tried to tell me that she used these buttons for dream catchers. I was like, you stupid bitch. You're talking to a pagan. I know how dream catchers are made, and you do not use buttons. I'm like, not especially not these kind of buttons. I'm like, what? I'm like, nah, I don't think so. So later on, I had to go get copies of all the cards and buttons so that I could match them up to the cards and take pictures of them for court and all that. And yeah, she got more in trouble for it was probably about $30 worth of buttons. Buttons are outrageously expensive. And these were specialty buttons. They weren't your just plain little buttons. So yeah, she had about $30 worth of buttons. And the gun got her in the most trouble though, because she only had the receipt of purchase. She didn't have it registered. I don't know where the hell she got it, but handguns, you're supposed to wait 7 days and da-da-da. She didn't have it registered. She had no permit to carry. She got fucked. I'm just sitting in court just laughing my ass off. The judge never even called me because my reports were so detailed that most of the time I didn't even have to go to court. But this one I wanted to go and watch, so I went. Yeah, she got big-ass trouble for that. Hi, Susie. And good morning. So, yeah, it was an interesting night. Of course, that was one of the nights that I worked. I didn't get home until probably, I don't know, like 6 o'clock in the morning. And because I spotted her at 2:30, I followed her around for about an hour and a half, and then I had to do my report and all that. And I always like to get my reports done like at the end of my shift. So I'd take a couple of hours and just do my reports. And so I got home about 6:30, and of course, John and the kids were getting up because kids had to go to school, and I don't think John was working at the time. And I had just fallen asleep, and he's waking me up, and I'm like, "Why are you waking? Is somebody dying? Why? What is going on? Are the kids okay?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, they're in school." I'm like, oh, "Why are you waking me up?" He goes, "I'm lonely." I was like, "No, no, 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 no. I don't care. Go away." I went back to sleep. He wakes me up 10 minutes later. He's like, "I'm still lonely." I'm like, "You're going to be unconscious in a minute. Leave me the fuck alone." I'm like, "You do realize I can handcuff you to something so that you will leave me alone, and you will not get uncuffed until I wake up." And he left me alone. No, actually, Darlene, with me, it's a relatively small town in South Carolina that I worked. I worked in Easley, South Carolina, and the cops didn't take longer than, I think the longest they ever took was about 20 minutes getting to the store. Because they weren't busy. They used to actually sit in our parking lot waiting for me to bust somebody. I had the highest arrest rate for that store when I worked. I worked there for 2 years. I busted over 600 people shoplifting. And they were usually pretty quick. Yeah. No, I was gonna actually handcuff him to the bottom of the couch or something, because that way he wouldn't have been in the same room with me. Yeah, somewhere away from the bedroom. I had a really nice pair of handcuffs too. They were Smith & Wesson. They were gunmetal gray. I don't know how many cops tried to trade me their little aluminum type handcuffs for mine. I was like, give me my cuffs back. Yeah, a lot of stories from loss prevention, Darlene. So many stories. Holy crap. And you can't make this shit up. It's like, what? Like the 6'7" guy named Brady Joe. Yeah, couldn't get more southern than that, right? His name was Brady Joe. He was huge, and he had put hammers down each side of his shorts. So it wasn't like he could run, or he would have literally hammered himself. But I stopped him, and I'm thinking, this guy's going to step on my head. He was just, I'm 5'5". you know? So I'm like looking at his freaking belly button. I'm like, holy crap. And I was wondering where the hell my partner was because my partner was an Army Ranger. I'm like, hello, where did you go? And the guy just stood there for a minute, and all of a sudden my partner pops up from around behind him and goes, I wouldn't mess with her if I were you. I'm like, oh my God. We get him back there. He starts popping the lower tabs he had in his pocket. So I was freaking out, thinking he was going to overdose. Detective got there really fast. And as soon as he walked in, he's like, Brady Joe, what'd you do now? I'm like, oh, okay. Well, you know each other. That's nice. So he'd only taken 2, though. He was fine. But he said he needed to steal the hammers because he had a job and he took the job but didn't have the tools to do the job. I'm like, well, now you're not going to have the job either because you have to go into jail for shoplifting. Yeah. Yeah, so many. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I had a woman who used to go shoplift and she'd have her little kid with her, and her daughter was like a year and a half old, 2 years old. Sweetest little girl. I mean, blonde hair, blue eyes, big old cheeks, you know, just the little cherub little girl. She was such a sweet child. And I, I'm really sad that I got to know her so well because her mom kept getting busted for shoplifting while she was with her. Surprisingly enough, social services did not get called on the woman because she got busted when I was training. She got busted in the White Horse Road store that I was training at with $300 worth of stuff that she tried telling us was for her child for her birthday party. And I'm looking, I pull out a pair of like size 11 work boots. I'm like, really? I'm like, these are for your baby. I'm like, are you planning on fitting her entirely in one of them and taking her picture? Because that's the only way these are for her. Then I pull out lingerie and I'm like, okay, if this is for your daughter, you guys have issues. You need to live in Tennessee or something. No offense to people in Tennessee, but I know that, you know, people that are related to each other can get married there. Yeah, Darlene, exactly. They figure if they take their kid with them that people aren't going to watch them. Guess what? I know better. So she got busted with that. And then I was in my store for about 2 weeks and I spotted her. And it actually wasn't her that I recognized. It was the baby. And I'm like, I know that child. And I looked and I'm like, oh, not her. And sure enough, there again, she's just had empty Walmart bags. She's filling them up and just putting them in her cart. And I'm like, really? So I busted her in my store. So she was on trespass order for like every store in South Carolina she wasn't supposed to go to. And I did too. Darlene, I did too. They were stealing Pokemon cards. Yep. I busted a little kid doing that. But this woman, you know, I busted her and her husband looked like he was about ready to kill her. And so I really didn't have to do anything. She was terrified because he came to pick her up and just the look on his face told me she got beat when she got home. And then Easter, not even a year later, maybe 6 months later, it was Easter. And being that I'm not Christian, I was working Easter. I had no problem with that. You know, I'm walking around, I'm in the toy department, and I spot her again. She's not supposed to be in my store. She's on trespass order. And I'm like, what are you doing? And she's putting little boxes of Legos, the little Lego kits, you know? She's filling up a purse with these things. And I'm like, what in the fuck? And I debated with myself. I'm like, do I want to send her to jail on Easter? Huh. And I knew she was Christian. She wore a cross. And her husband came in lecturing her about, you know, going to church more. And, oh, yeah, they do, Susie. They do. You bounce a check in South Carolina, you're going to jail. And so I made the decision to not have her arrested. I walked around the corner, grabbed the end of her cart, and she jumped a mile. I was like, look, you stupid bitch. Instead of being with your family at home, celebrating Easter like you're supposed to be, I was like, you're in here shoplifting. I said, I know exactly what's in your purse. Not only that, but you have your child with you. It's going to be your second offense in my store. You're already on trespass notice. You will go to jail, and I will make sure social services gets called because you are putting your child in a crime. I'm like, so you make the decision right now. You dump this shit out, and you take your baby, and you get out of my fucking store, and you never come back. I was like, oh, you go to jail right now. which I couldn't do because I didn't stop her on the way out the door, but she didn't know that. And she dumped everything out of that purse and grabbed her baby and took off like a shot. Never saw her again. So, hi, Jennifer. So, I don't know. I mean, even though, my beliefs aren't the same as other people's, I have a hard time infringing on someone else's holiday, I guess. Now, I mean, they shouldn't be disrespecting their own religion by committing a crime, but that's on their soul. You know what I mean? So, one of the last ones I had was 3 kids, 7, 10, and 12. Father came, he was pissed, and we knew the father was going in with them kids. Yeah, that's. I had a kid, he was 7 or 8 years old, and his little brother was 6 or 7, and their parents just let them run around the store. The parents were off doing whatever, and these kids are running all through clothing. And I was worried that they were going to fall and hurt themselves. I'm a mom, it's what we do, right? So I'm just sitting there watching the kids run around. And then I noticed that the older one keeps going up to the register and coming back. And then I looked and I noticed all these foil wrappers under the clothes. And so I watched him a little more closely, and he's ripping open Pokemon card packs and putting them in his pocket after opening them. I'm like, crap. Because Walmart's rule is that, hi, Jen, is that you can't arrest anyone or charge anyone with shoplifting under the age of 13. And it has to be $1. Well, it had to be $1 value of over $3, which these days that's a candy bar. So, but back then it wasn't. But I'm watching him, and there had to have been about 20, packs underneath all the clothing and stuff. I'm like, what the fuck? And then he turns around and he opens a few and sticks them in his little brother's pockets. His little brother even told him, we're not supposed to take them without paying. And his older brother said, shut up and just put these in your pocket. I'm like, oh, now you're making your little brother help you commit a crime. I'm like, and it's wrong. I'm like, now I couldn't arrest him, and I couldn't charge him. I could put them on trespass. I debated again. I was like, But this, I mean, I had a pocket full of these wrappers, So I watched the parents meet up with the kids. They go through the register. They're about halfway across the parking lot. I'm like, I can't let it go. I just can't. I have to let the parents know what their kids were doing, because if the kid keeps getting away with this, it's going to get worse. So I walked out to the parking lot, showed my ID, identified myself to the parents, told them what I had seen. The mother starts freaking out and screaming at me that I'm a liar, blah, 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 blah. The father's just standing there. This is a very big man. He was at least 6'5" and built like a brick shit house. He was huge. And I'm like, I'm going to die in the Walmart parking lot. Because I was trying to tell them what their kids were up to, And I'm like, fuck, I was actually more worried about the mom, because she was getting very loud and I said, tell him to empty his pockets. I said, you guys know how many Pokemon cards he had when he came in, right? Because he did have like 4 with him when he came in. And they were like, yeah, he had 4. I'm like, have him empty his pocket. I'm not having my child. You're falsely accusing. I was like, would you really think I would walk all the way out here to tell you what your child was doing? I could have stopped you at the door. And by law, you would have had to come back inside with me, because at the time, that's how it worked. And the father looked at the boy and goes, I'm really hoping you didn't do what she said. And his little brother goes, he did. He made me put some in my pocket, too. I was like, the things that come out of kids' mouths. And the other little boy, these people, they were black, which I don't have any racist thing anyway, but I have to clarify that they were black, because this boy turned white. When his brother said that, he lost all color. And he looked terrible. His eyes went huge like a cartoon character. He was like, oh my God. And the mother went, he wouldn't, what? I'm like, oh, children are going to get beat when they get home. And the father goes, empty your pockets. I mean, deep baritone voice, and I'm like, yeah. So he did. He pulled out a stack. I mean, he had about 60 cards in his pocket. And his father was like, hand them to her. So he hands me all of them. And, sorry, bug. He hands me all of them. And his little brother coughs up his, which he had about 30 in his pocket. And I was like, well, I'm not sure which ones was actually already theirs. And his father goes, it doesn't matter. He's not going to get any of them. I'm going to go home and burn all the ones he's got. And of course, me, I cried. But he was like, well, he goes, are you going to call the police? I'm like, no, if I was going to call the police, I would have stopped you at the door. And the most that would have happened is that they would have been put on trespass and you would have to keep them with you when you're in the store, which, given the circumstances, I would suggest that would be a really good idea. Because obviously, he's getting up to things when he's not being supervised. And he goes, oh, he's going to get watched. I'm like, oh, shit. So, yeah. But my job sometimes warred with me being a mom, Yeah. I had a little Mexican woman that was in. She had a 3-year-old and she had an infant about 3 months old in the little carrier, and it was her carrier. It wasn't a store. How they had stroller. They had the shopping carts with the carriers on them. She didn't use that. She had her own. And I'm watching her, and she's in the kids department. And all of a sudden, her 3-year-old was wearing different clothes than what she'd been wearing when I first spotted her. I'm like, how the hell did she do that so fast? And I'm watching her, and she had a diaper bag with her, which you could tell was pretty much empty until a few minutes later when it was not empty. It was overstuffed. So I stopped her and brought her back, and she's, of course, me, no hable English. And I'm like, okay. Held up my handcuffs and like, do you understand this? And she was like, the look on her face was like, oh crap, I get her in the back and open the diaper bag, and it's just stuffed full. Everything was for her kids. There was not one single thing for her, not even a cracker, an adult cookie, nothing. And I'm like, okay. The only thing that was hers was a baby bottle that had about a quarter left of baby formula in it. There were no diapers. She had been stealing some. There were no diapers, no wipes, no baby formula, nothing. And I finally got her to give me a phone number of somebody to call. When I called the police department, I asked for a Spanish-speaking officer because she was, she's obviously Mexican. Said she didn't speak English, which she did. And I finally got her to give me a phone number of somebody to call because I told her, social services will get involved if you can't talk to the police officers to have somebody come pick up your children. So she gives me a phone number. I called. They pretended not to speak English. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Just telling you know, she got busted shoplifting. She's going to jail, easily police department. She's got the kids with her. So if you don't want social services involved, I suggest you get your ass down there and pick them up. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Darlene, you have to itemize everything and total it all up. Yeah, pictures, everything. So I'm going through, and then I noticed that the baby seemed to be a bit crowded in that carrier. I look, and she'd even stuffed clothing under the liner of the baby carrier with the baby in it. So I got all that out. And she was very worried when I picked up the baby, and I was, it's okay, I'm a mom. And she quieted right down, which is how we knew she spoke English. And the baby was so cute. And, put the baby back in, strapped her all back in the carrier. And I talked to my assistant manager, and I told her, I was like, she doesn't have diapers, she doesn't have formula, she's got nothing. So we took the diapers, the wipes, and the formula off the list of things she stole, and my assistant manager and I bought them for her. So the baby would have, be able to be, and we bought her a small bottle of spring water so she could make formula. So, yeah. But she had like $250 worth of stuff without that stuff on it. Have a good day, Darlene. Thanks for stopping by. So she did have to go to jail. Apparently, the non-speaking English people that I called somehow miraculously spoke English enough that they were waiting when she got there. I did give her the number to WIC. I looked up the number to WIC, and I did give her the number to WIC, and I told her that she could get baby formula and all of that, and some food for the little one with WIC, because you don't need a ton of documentation. I didn't know if she was legal or illegal. That wasn't my issue, but I wanted to make sure that the kids had food, so I did give her the number to WIC. So hopefully she called it. I mean, I wasn't always a douchebag to people when I busted them. There were, you have to take each situation into consideration and think about how, if they have kids, how it affects them. I mean, we had, one woman got busted. I busted her switching prices on shoes, of all things. We were having a sale in the shoe department, and there were some shoes that had $5 off stickers, and these stickers were really easy to take off the boxes and put on other boxes. And the cashiers, they're getting rushed. It's a small store. There's a lot of people. There's long lines, so they're getting rushed, and they just bring them through and do adjustments on the prices. So this woman had like 5 pairs of shoes she had switched prices on, and I busted her. And she had her daughter, who was 11 years old, go and distract a woman in the shoe department so she could switch the prices while I'm watching her do this, right? Like I said, I was the most invisible fat redhead in Easley, South Carolina. And so I bust her. I take her in the back, call her husband. Almost had a heart attack when her husband showed up because he looked almost exactly like my husband, Michael, whom I had left back in Massachusetts. And if he's watching this later, hi, Michael. But he was furious, absolutely furious. He's sitting, he ripped into her. He's like, I just got a $30,000 bonus from work. He's like, and you've got $5,000 worth of shoes in your closet, and you're switching prices to save $5 on each pair of shoes. What the hell is wrong with you? Her girl pipes up. It's priceless. And I mean, I have nothing against Christianity. I don't, in general. But a lot of its followers have been really douchey to me. But the little girl pipes up, and I still, I get a secret little giggle out of this because she looked at her mom and she goes, I am telling everybody at church what you did. I looked at her, I was like, good for you. Her father was like, oh my God. And then he was like, all right, well, you're going to jail. I'm taking the kids home. And so he goes, hug your mom, goodbye, kids. You'll see her sometime tomorrow. And the little boy went and hugged his mom because he had been with his dad. So he came home with his dad. The little girl sat there with her arms crossed and go, no. Yeah, I couldn't help it. I'm telling everybody at church what you did. Because honestly, everybody I busted, I go to church every Sunday. Well, that's nice. Maybe you should pay attention while you're there. I had one guy, I busted his daughter stealing school supplies. She was stealing pens and expensive pens and, just different things for school or whatever. And she stole about $50-$60 worth of stuff. Her father didn't believe me until I opened her purse and said, really, did she come in the store with this stuff? Because I have the packaging for all of this stuff in here. And he pulled out a crucifix out of his pocket and made her pray with him. And I was just really quiet while they were going about this. Meanwhile, I'm wearing my Pinnacle jewelry, and he's looking at me like I'm going to burst into flames or something. I'm like sitting there going, maybe you should have done that with her before you came in the store. And just finished filling out my report. I had a 16-year-old youth group leader who was stealing makeup and costume jewelry. She had a travel Bible in her purse. Her I made cry. Her I made cry. And I pulled out the little Bible and I looked at her and said, baby, you should have read this before you came in my store. Hey, Brad. And yeah, her friend almost went to jail with her too because she was causing a big old ruckus. And that was the girl that the sheriff at the time called me and asked me to drop all the charges and to, cancel my report and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what? Because she was the daughter of the fire chief. And apparently they were friends. And our sheriff at the time, Sheriff Tyler, he was crooked as fuck. And I was like, no. He goes, well, I think it would be in your job's best interest that you do as I request. And I was like, no. He goes, well, I'll be calling your manager. I was like, well, the store manager is not my manager. I said, the general manager of loss prevention is my manager. So here's his number. And it's like, you ready? And he's like, are you really going to give me his number? I was like, yeah, why wouldn't I? So I gave him Conrad's number. And 20 minutes later, I get a phone call from Conrad. He goes, did you really tell Sheriff Tyler that you're not going to drop any of the charges against this girl? And I was like, I did. He goes, you stood up to Tyler. I was like, I did. He goes, you're getting a raise. I'm like, thank you. Yeah, I also had the fire chief's truck towed because his daughter parked it in a handicap zone. Yeah, that girl got in big trouble. Big trouble. big trouble. Because she was 16 and technically she couldn't get arrested. She could get charges filed on her, but they couldn't hold her or whatever. Her parent had to come pick her up, but he wasn't available because he was at a fire, so she had to go to the police department to wait. And she's like, please don't press charges on me. I'm sorry. I'm like, you gonna be sorry? She's like, but I'll never do it again. I looked at her and said, look at me, girl. Does this look like a face that gives a damn? And she's like, no. I'm like, good call. Let's go. Yeah, I made more kids cry in Easley, South Carolina than the dentist. I did. But I did it for a good reason, because if you scare the crap out of them when they're young, maybe it won't escalate into something worse. You know? So, and aside from that one woman with the baby that I gave a break to on Easter and never saw again, I did not have any repeats. So, and there was one kid that I busted stealing, proving that boys think with their dicks. He was 17 years old, and he stole a card of generic costume jewelry earrings just before Valentine's Day because he wanted to get his girlfriend a Valentine's Day present. And he started off, when I stopped him and got him in the back, he started off like, yo, bitch. And I was like, look, first of all, I might be a bitch, but unless you want that to come out, I wouldn't call me that. Second of all, drop the crap act with the big thug life, because I'm not buying it. I was like, you talk to me like a normal human being, or you can just sit there silent. I'll just write my report and they'll come arrest you. I don't care. And he's like, I'm sorry, ma'am. Totally normal voice. I'm like, yeah, that's what I thought. Turns out his daddy was a preacher. I'm like, oh, you in big trouble if your daddy's a preacher. And he did go to jail for a $5 pack of earrings. He had to go to jail. And by the way, for a first offense for shoplifting, it is either 30 days, at the time, it was either 30 days in jail or a $1,500 fine. Sometimes the judge could do both. Depends on their attitude when they're in court. And if you're with somebody who's shoplifting and the person that stops you or arrests you has any inclination that you know what your friend is doing, your ass goes to jail for the same crime. Yep. So, but this kid, his parents actually came in and talked to the management, who then called me in. Apparently, he was supposed to be going to West Point Military Academy. And they came in and talked to me, and I was like, look, he committed the crime. I was like, I know it's not the first time he's done it. I was like, because I've seen him in the store before, and I've watched him. I just haven't been able to catch him. I said, this time I caught him. I was like, so it's not really a first offense, just the first time he's gotten caught. I was like, he's the one risking his future military career because he wanted to go into the Navy, career Navy. And I was like, he's the one risking it. And I told the kid, I was like, you're really going to give your girl stolen earrings? I said, do you know what kind of bad karma is attached to that? Her ears will fall off. What's wrong with you? And he was terrified. He did. He literally turned green. It was pretty funny. But, I was like, I don't know. I'll have to think about, because you can get pretrial intervention for a first offense with arrest in South Carolina. If your record is completely clean, you don't have anything on it, you can get pretrial intervention, which means you do community service and then the charges are expunged from your record, so they don't exist. And they were asking me to do that, and I was like, I don't know, I'll have to think about it. And about a week later, my manager handed me an envelope with my, just loss prevention on it. I'm like, what's this? He goes, well, somebody left it here for you. I'm like, all right. So I opened it, and it was a letter from the kid. It is very well written, actually. Not all this thug, yo, 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 what's up, bitch type of bullshit. Hate that shit. And it was very articulate. It was very well written. He was very apologetic and very sincere in his writing and told me his goals in life and that he just got really confused because his friends were saying, it's really easy to just go in and steal something and da-da-da. And he knows he needs to make better decisions in the future, all that crap. So I was like, oh, fuck. Because as a mom, we want our kids to do the best they can and have every opportunity they can, right? And this kid, he really wasn't a bad kid. He really was in with a bad crowd. And I'm just like, ugh. So I went into court. I talked to the judge. I talked to the prosecuting attorney. I told them what was going on. I showed them the letter. The judge was impressed that the kid took it upon himself. Now, whether his parents told him to write it or whatever, the kid actually did it. So he got credit for that. They were also both impressed with how eloquently, nothing was misspelled. It was printed clearly, not like you would normally think of a boy's handwriting or anything. And so the three of us came to the conclusion that we'd give this kid a break and see how he did. So I agreed to the pretrial intervention, and we went into the room, we talked to everybody, and I looked at the kid, I said, you fuck up. It will come back on you. You know that. And he was, because I'm still wearing my pinnacle jewelry. He was freaking out. I was like, I'm not saying that, I'm going to send anything your way. I'm just saying it's karma. Do the best you can and stay away from stupid people. And I got a letter a year later. He was top of his class. He was doing really, really well. And he thanked me for giving him the opportunity to be able to do that. And that made me feel good, So I was glad that I made that decision. And I guess he sent the judge and the prosecuting attorney letters too, because they contacted me, asked if I'd heard from him. I said, yeah. So never heard from him again. But his younger brother did come in and thank me because his younger brother had been in court with them. So he knew who I was. And he thanked me and said his brother was doing really well and he was really happy and he'd gotten away from, crappy people and stuff like that. So that was cool. Every once in a while, something good happens, you help somebody out and it makes you feel good. So it did. But yeah, some crazy, crazy stories with loss prevention, man. The guys who trained me had fun. We heard a lot of those stories. They busted a priest. Yeah, they busted a priest shoplifting. Almost every single person was either obviously Christian or they claimed that they went to church or they'd start praying when I got them back there or whatever. But these guys actually busted a priest shoplifting. I was flabbergasted. They busted a millionaire. He had $500 in his wallet. He stole something that was worth $20. I'm like, oh, just for the thrill of it, How'd that work out for you? Don't you look stupid? So, yeah, some crazy shit. But as you can tell, I really like that job. And that's the job I had when my back went out completely and I couldn't work it anymore. My boss was afraid that if I got in a fight with anybody, yeah, Brad, really? That if I got in a fight with anybody and I landed wrong, then my back would shatter because I do have, all my discs are perforated at this point. They're degenerating. So landing wrong or getting hit wrong or whatever could cause me paralyzation. So he said, unless I got a doctor's clearance to still work, that I couldn't do it. And since I couldn't go to a doctor because without working, I didn't have insurance, catch 22. I couldn't get the note, so I couldn't work anymore. Yeah, churches are like the highest income of anything. Like the Catholic Church is the highest grossing entity in the world or some crap. Their businesses are, their little fingers are in everything, man, literally. But I don't know. Like I said, I don't have problems with other people's religions. It's the followers I have a problem with sometimes. I did meet some really, really nice Baptists in Florida. They were very sweet, and I still have some of them on my friends list. And they helped me out a lot, and they were just very nice. They never pushed their religion on me, which I fully appreciated. and they cook good food. So, they like to feed me because with my income, I didn't have a lot of money. Every once in a while, someone would show up at my door with food, and I'd be like, "Yay, food!" Yeah. And they had dinner at their church every Wednesday. You pay like $1 or $2, and you get this like huge plate of food. So I had people that used to come and pick me up and take me to that every Wednesday. So that was nice. They also helped me with packing my truck when I had to move twice. And yeah, they were very nice people. But then I had people here in South Carolina that practically, almost literally beat me. If they had had a Bible in their hand, they probably would have tried to hit me with it, literally. It was crazy. I was just like, get away from me before I start roundhousing you people. I'm like, back up. Yeah, it was terrible. I did get to kick Bob Jones University people out of Walmart because Walmart has a very strong no soliciting policy, and that includes religion, in my eyes anyway, and I was the one in charge of security. So out you go, stop harassing my customers. Obnoxious little shits, man. So now I've been rambling on. My people I sent links to are not here. I'm all by myself still. Hello. But pet stores were always fun. Not as exciting maybe, but I love animals, so working with them was great. The only two things I wouldn't go near were the tarantulas and the scorpions. Sorry, but anything with that many legs should not be allowed to exist. I gotta say about spiders, I'm just like, go away. And scorpions, no. John always wanted to get another emperor scorpion. I was like, no, when you're living in my house, you're not. He brought a rider spider into the house one night while I was working. Put it in one of those little plastic terrarium things. I come home at like 11 o'clock at night. Everything's dark. I mean, I'm going to bed and I'm hearing tap, 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 tap. I'm like, what the fuck is that noise? And it wouldn't stop. And I'm like, I can't sleep with that. It was so annoying. So I wake him up. I'm like, what the hell is that noise? He goes, oh, it's probably the spider. I'm like, what fucking spider? He turns the light on. There's this giant, the thing had to have been 2.5 inches long, just its body, spider in a little terrarium, and it's trying to get out. And that's what the tapping was its legs on the sides. I'm like, what is that doing in my bedroom? He goes, well, I thought it'd be cool. I said, those spiders are nocturnal. I'm never going to get any sleep. Get it out. I was like, go put it back outside. What are you doing? That man. But yeah, put that back outside. They do make the most awesome webs, though. The bigger ones make these massive webs. I don't know if they're trying to catch bats or what, but they're huge. And we had one that spanned almost the entire end of our house. It was a good 6-7 feet of web. I went out to get in the truck one day and all the dew was glistening on it. And I was like, holy crap, that web is huge. God. But they're cool to look at a distance, but I don't want them touching me. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I didn't have a problem with the lizards or the snakes or, of course, puppies and kittens. I had fun with those. The first thing I ever sold when I started working at the pet store was a Norwegian elk hound. Sold them for $100. Got $15 commission when I was 19, and I still remember it. So you never forget your firsts, right, TG? But yeah, I actually lost both. I was working at 2 different pet stores, one in my town, one in the town next to us, and I lost both jobs because they found out I was working for another pet store. I'm like, you morons, I'm sending customers to each of you. If you don't have something and I know the other store has it, I send it to that store and they get the business. If that store doesn't have something, I send them to the other one. I'm helping you. But no, I was working for the competition. Like, fuck you. So, yeah. Working at the barn, I got that job when I was 12. Started working at a barn shoveling horse shit and grooming horses when I was 12 years old. I got riding time in exchange, so I was in absolute heaven with that job, even though the adults took advantage of me working there for free and had me doing most of their work too. And I wouldn't take my breaks when they did, so whenever the owner showed up, I would be sitting down. So she started calling me names. I'm not going to repeat them because you two people are crazy and you'll start calling me that and it'll piss me off. So I'm not going to repeat them. But I was not pleased. And I told him once, I said, you should come in here at 9 o'clock in the morning when all your workers that you pay are supposed to be working and they're sitting on their asses and I'm doing all their damn work. Why don't you try coming in then instead of 11 o'clock when I'm done and they're all making it look like they're working when they're not. And she did one day and caught all of them sitting a coffee break at 9 a.m. They start work at like 7. So, no, Brad, there is no way in hell, especially you, that I am telling one of those names. Nope. Brad. So, but I did love that job. And I met Jay Giles, and for the younger crew who don't know who Jay Giles is, he was in a band called the Jay Giles Band. Hey, Pammy. And he was huge in the 80s. No, TJ. My name is not Victoria. Let's try. But yeah, I met him. I threw horse shit on him. Yep, I threw horse shit on a rock star. Yep, centerfold. Exactly, Brad. My claim to fame is I threw a pitchfork full of horse shit on Jay Giles. Yep. It's his own fault. I warned him 3 times to get out of my way, and he wouldn't do it, and so he got what he got. I almost got fired. His wife fell off the picnic table in the lounge area laughing. Thought it was awesome because she said he gets too big for his britches and thinks he's the king shit. And now he's covered in it. So she thought it was hysterical. His wife is the one that saved me my job. Because even he started laughing and told my boss that he deserved it because I did ask him to move 3 times. And, I was trying to get the stall clean for her horse. And he was interfering in that. And so, yeah, they saved my job. And when we had a horse show, his wife, Christine, gave me $50 to groom her horse down for the show. So that was very nice. The other girls only got 25 for the ones they did. It was standard. If you hired somebody that worked at the barn to groom your horse, you give them like $25. Morning, my hotness, my badass hotness. So yeah, it was pretty cool. I had a lot of jobs that I really liked, and then, like I said, then there was retail and the bank, and I hated those jobs. And now I want to do work for myself. I want to make my jewelry and try and sell that, and hopefully that will work. If these cats ever go home, I met them yesterday. I finally went in the room because my mom brought groceries over. So while I was in the wheelchair, I went in the room. And the one cat is up in the cat tree, just glaring at everything in sight. And the other one is younger. It's more like about 6 months old. Completely black. It's a solid black cat. And I don't know if it's male or female, but it's really cute. And it's more friendly than the other one. I think that's the one that moves around the most, wearing a bell. Hey, Beast Man. The hot badass hotness's dad that I call Beast Man. But my son still doesn't know when they're going home. I'm like, how long does it take to do whatever they're supposed to do in these people's apartment or home or whatever? The maintenance people are supposed to be fixing it, and they're not fixing it, and they need to because I want my room. I waited long enough to get my stuff in there, and now it's only partially in there, and I want my room back. And my mom worked really hard to clean that room, and now I've got cat litter all over it. And, we worked hard to vacuum off the cat tree, and it's a mess because the one cat's long-haired, and yeah. So I told my son, I said, you and Hector better clean off that damn cat tree. Then he said Hector had told him I gave him the cat tree. I'm like, no. When the hell did I talk to Hector? I don't talk to your friend unless he's here. And did you hear me talk to him and tell him that? No. And he goes, he must have just been fucking with me. I said, well, you better clarify. That's not his. It's mine. and does not leave this house. That thing cost John and Nisa $70, and they got it for Marty and Onyx. I was not happy. That put me in a mood. But Amy, come play with me. Been sitting here for an hour, just rambling. Help me. I'm sure everybody's tired of just hearing me talk to myself. Rambling on. Well, that's what I do, you know. Rambling on. I could tell you sea beer stories. I got a lot of sea beer stories from when I hung out with them all in Massachusetts. Whoo. I can't tell you resale stories because I don't have any. I can't tell you anything about eBay because I don't do that either. Yay, good morning, badass hotness.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
I am awake.
You are awake. How is Dad? How's Dad doing?
He's doing good. Today's his birthday.
Happy birthday! Yay!
Kodi said happy birthday, Dad. He said happy birthday.
Your dad's funny. See, we need Victoria. Victoria needs to wake up on the weekends so she can sing happy birthday to people.
So yesterday was my mom and dad's 33rd wedding anniversary.
Wow,
today
sweet.
is his birthday, and tomorrow is Mother's Day.
Right. Did he do that on purpose so that he wouldn't forget?
I was gonna raise. Hey, Dad, who chose what day you and Mom got married? Who did? Oh, you're gonna be a grumpy old man now. Okay.
Paul.
Was it done on purpose so you don't forget your wedding anniversary?
That's right.
That's right. Okay.
Guess what? I ain't forgot yet.
Oh goodness.
Oh, and make sure you tell your mom that I said Happy Mother's Day and Happy Mother's Day to you too.
Well, thank you, and I will let her know.
Well, happy birthday in advance, TG. Tomorrow is TG's birthday.
Well, happy birthday for tomorrow.
And TG is going to be 13.
Jeez.
I'm kidding, TG. Why is he talking like this? He sounds really silly.
He's trying to sound like a grumpy old man.
Then call him Walter and tell him to have a nice fucking day.
I don't even. He's over there still doing it. I don't know what he's saying though.
Your dad's funny.
Oh my gosh. I have not had enough coffee for all that, but hey, whatever. It's his birthday. If he wants to do his silly little voices.
Well, at least he's not doing the one that sounds like this.
Right. Oh, he's coming back now.
Uh-oh.
You got hair growing out of places you didn't know you had.
That's part two.
Dad.
You got hair grows. My eyebrows are growing together.
You can blame those.
Can you even hear him?
Yes, we can.
I look like a
Pretty
hot
soon he'll be able to braid his eyebrows together. That'd be cool.
Hey, you want to braid your eyebrows together?
I might be able to.
Welcome to my life here. This is how it is all the time.
Right? Paul,
I know you could vouch for that.
It's 10 o'clock. Shouldn't you be sleeping, Paul? Oh, you know what I was going to do?
You got clowns in my coffee.
You got what in your coffee?
Clowns.
You got clowns.
Clouds.
Oh, clouds. Clouds in your coffee.
I can see my future.
What are you, sleep YouTubing, Paul? Paul, you know what? I was going to take your wrench away and put you on timeout when I saw you just because of what you did during that show. But I'm too lazy, so you're safe for now.
Oh,
yeah, and Paul told everybody not to subscribe to me.
How rude.
I know, right?
I got called a silverback the other day.
You got called
Paul's
what?
a
A
meanie head.
silverback.
A silverback?
Silverback.
Yeah, it's a
gorilla.
grizzly. A silverback is a
I had,
grizzly
like,
bear.
a black shirt with
It's a
silver
gorilla.
tops. And
Oh,
two
the
storm
gorilla one.
clouds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who called
No,
you
it's
that?
also a grizzly bear.
What was it?
There are silverback grizzlies too.
Oh yeah, I know. He was just talking about a gorilla.
Cool. He goes, man,
Paul,
look
that
like a
whiteboard
silverback gorilla
overcompensated
going
so
downtown.
bad. I'm starting to worry about any girlfriend you might get. Amy, Paul had a whiteboard the size of a billboard. It's like he went out on the street, stole a billboard, and used it as a
He
whiteboard.
was very quiet around me now. It's a good dude that I jumped his ass about boxing. Yeah.
Definitely overcompensation there, Paul. Mm-hmm.
I cannot see the chat.
I'm sorry.
Now I can see the chat. It wouldn't let me pull it up. Whatever. And Paul, my dad will not go on YouTube. I've begged him. I told him, I said, we don't even have to turn the camera on. Just let them hear what you're saying.
Okay.
Because it's freaking hilarious.
Okay.
But he always says no. This is the first time I think he's talked on a live.
To be alive? Damn, I thought I was dead.
I said no,
Damn.
I didn't say that. Oh my. You're gonna make my face hurt before noon. That never happens. I never laugh this much this early.
You do when we video chat early in the morning.
Yeah, that's different. That's usually because my mouth goes and the things that come out of my mouth surprises me and it's funny.
Yeah. No,
So I'm like,
was
oh, I don't know where that came from.
What was funny was one of the questions during the match it game that Tink and Victoria do.
Mm-hmm.
Nana was doing the questions, and one of them was that a tree doctor went to see Tim and diagnosed him with blank. And Tina and I both started laughing our asses off, and we both gave the same answer, which was tree fungus.
Catch up speed. He said I was giving him attitude. And all I told him was I wasn't his fucking mom.
Well then.
That's all I told him.
And you wonder where I get my mouth at?
Right?
Yeah.
I didn't want to heard your dad talk.
Bitch, I know you ain't talking to me.
He called you Mister?
Yeah.
Does he not know that's one of your, you don't call it
No, it's
Mr. or sir? No?
But Mr. Like, really, bitch?
Dad, do you remember Kodi? No?
I don't think so.
No,
But anyway,
she's the one that
when
watched
your
her
GM
oven mitt puppet show.
When your GM tells old dude not to just leave it be, and he keeps pushing the issue, old dude's stupid. Because everybody around there knows you don't flip that trigger.
I
Put
mean,
his fat ass in the grill and make pork rinds. I'll make 27 pounds of pork rinds.
Okay.
Amy, did you hear what I had said?
I half-ass heard what you said, but he started talking about work, and I kind of lost my focus.
Well,
It needs to be so.
Nana's question for the magic game. Okay, I'll wait until you're done.
No, you're fine. I did that because he was talking, so you could continue and it wouldn't mess up the feed.
Okay, I'll talk to
Nana's question was, a tree doctor goes to see Tim and diagnosed him with blank. Tina and I immediately started laughing our asses off. And we both gave the same answer, which was tree fungus.
That's funny.
Let it out, girl. Let it out.
Oh my, no.
Yep, that was funny.
That is funny.
It was very funny. Paul, put your makeup on. Hit the link. Come on. Come and play. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. We don't bite that hard. Well, Amy might. I don't know. I know she kicks damn hard. Look out for her feet.
Oh my.
Badass hotness ninja.
You know, I'm surprised that I haven't had people ask me why you and Tina call me that. I mean, I did have one person ask me, and I didn't even answer. I just started laughing my ass off. I was like, well, you know, it's because I'm little. And they're like, no, there has to be more. There is more, but I'm not telling you.
Paul, you wouldn't know if Amy bites or not. Shut up. Your talk is big, Paul, but I don't see you booping on my screen. Come on. Come on. Oh wait, I'm calling him wrong. Here, boy. Come on, boy.
Kodi.
What? I'm sleep deprived. I have an excuse. That and I'm just crazy, so it's okay.
Crazy Kodi.
I'm sure your hair looks fine, Paul. It'll be fine.
Mine doesn't. I didn't even brush it. I'm not even sure if I brushed it yesterday. I don't care though.
I think Paul's scared.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think so too.
Yep. It's a shame, really. First he overcompensates with a giant whiteboard, and now he's too scared to come on the panel. I don't know. You're going to start getting a reputation, Paul. Not only that, he was mean to me. He owes me. Telling people not to sub for me. Yard sailing. Mm-hmm. Always an excuse. Hey, we could really fuck with him if he's at a yard sale.
Hey,
Why don't
Susie.
yard sale spontaneously busting out laughing?
That's funny. I think my dad's jamming out now to the music in his head. He was playing air guitar, going do 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 as he's walking across the carport. It's funny.
Well, you're gonna get another one, Paul. So what are you up to, Brad? We don't hear from you very much. He disappeared on us for a while.
I have to go get my coffee, so I'll be right back. Well, I mean, I'll still be able to hear you, but I'm gonna mute myself because
I know your house. I got it.
And I have the girls too, so there's 7 people.
Oh yeah,
right?
Feel free to mute.
Right? You'll hear, Mom, I need this. Mom, I need that. Can you cook me this? Can you make me this? Can you do that? So yeah, I'm just gonna mute so you guys can not hear me yell and go away. Make your own food. You're big enough.
Right.
I mean, you know how to make. They can use anything that is accessible in there. They know how to. We've taught them, but they still think it's better if I do it for them.
Right. Of course.
I'm like, you know how to use a stove and an oven and everything else. Nope. Okay, I'll be right back.
But Mom, I don't want to do it. I want you to do it.
It tastes better when you do it, Mom. Yeah. I used to do the same thing, and it doesn't taste any different. They just don't want to do it themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, I do understand the whole stove thing because they're used to an electric stove, and my parents have a gas stove. So, you know, they're afraid that when they go to light it, it won't light, and they could smell gas, so they freak out, thinking the house is going to explode right then. I'm like, guys, sometimes it takes a second.
You know what? The more they use it, the more they'll get used to it. Tell them to start cooking. That you want them to cook you dinner.
Right. Okay, I'm muting myself now.
Okay. Yeah, I've been on video calls with Amy when she goes in her house, and it's very, very loud. So, you find anything at the yard sales yet, Paul? I almost said Philly. What do you got good so far? Because if you haven't found anything good so far, it's obviously not worth it. You just go sit in the car and come on the panel or something. And of course, one of my neighbors is mowing the lawn. I don't know if it's the neighbor next door, if he'll be coming near my window or not soon. Because my neighbor is very sweet. His name is Luke, and he mows my lawn for free for me. He got a ride-on mower now, so he's happy. He likes just riding around. Half the time I don't think he was even mowing the lawn. I think he's just riding around on the mower. But he's very sweet. Mows my lawn for free. And when my son moves out of me, I'm going to have my other neighbor help me with my trash. Because I don't usually have too much trash. I can usually get it out to the door, but I can't get out of my door, and I definitely cannot get down to where my trash can is. So, not by myself. So, I'm going to have to ask him if he can grab it off my porch and put it in my trash can for me and stuff. Basic stuff, nothing too crazy. Boring. Boring, Paul. Boring. Spread the word, everybody. Paul is boring. Since Paul told people not to sub to me, asshole. So mean. I mean, damn, Paul, what'd I ever do to you, huh? And just like with my son drinking all the chocolate milk, this will never die, okay? Mm-hmm. I have a very long memory. Obviously, from all the stories I just told, which happened 19 years ago. That's right. Add that to your reputation. Overconversation and boring at yard sales. Hello. And mean to Kodi. Nobody should be mean to me. I'm a fucking delight. I don't understand how people can be mean to me.
I think Paul's mean to everybody.
Well, Paul's a dick then.
Did you say he's a victim or he's a dick then?
I said, then Paul's a dick then.
Okay, at first it sounded like you said Paul's a victim. I was like, what? He's the mean one.
It could still happen. Hey, sarcastic. Oh, nice. Did you sell it to TG? She likes treadmills. I figured I'd turn my camera on so Paul would know I was actually joking and not being a douchebag. Kind of. Oh, long hair sucks. Paul, I am a dick. It's good to be self-aware, Paul. Now, when you get to the level of being a bag of dicks, then that's when you should start working on something. You know what I mean? Ah, what the hell? There's always one little cluck of fucking hair.
I hate when that happens.
Susie, you have my permission to borrow it. It is copyright free. Ugh, hair sucks in general. We put it up yesterday in Marketplace. They are picking it up this morning. The locker is crapping $100 to $200 items. Sweet. Very nice. Very nice indeed. See, Paul, with your yard sale and you slacking. Hello? Yeah, don't suck hair. Sucking hair is bad. TG, don't give me ammo like that. It's too early in the morning for some people, you know. I mean, I know it's afternoon for you, but of course on my channel the theme is to expect the unexpected, so always expect the unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
And
Definitely. Yeah. Where's my British freaking road dog? She's not. She hasn't even seen the message I sent her with the link. Oh well. Usually Wendy comes in the morning when I do morning shows. Usually.
Wendy. I thought that's who you were talking about, but I wasn't
Yeah.
sure.
Cats wake you up at 6 a.m. every morning. My cats do not wake me up unless they run me over while they're doing the Cat 500 around my room. It's usually the dog lunging at the cats as they're running across the bed that wakes me up. But if I get woken up by the animals. But they usually don't get the chance. I don't sleep for more than a couple hours at a time most of the time.
I sleep with my door shut, so and the cats aren't. Only the one cat is allowed in my room.
Yeah, the loud one.
Because she'll cry if I don't let her in there, and I can't. That's like listening to a baby cry. No way.
Well, I don't know where Marty is. I don't see her behind me anywhere. She's probably in her box. I just can't see her. And I got Onyx sleeping behind me on one side, and the dog is sleeping behind me on the other. And they're like touching. If the dog wakes up and finds out the cat's touching her, she's going to be very upset. She does not like that. But I sleep with my door closed too, but none of the animals are in my room. So.
But none of these are actually mine.
Mm-hmm. Well, Onyx wasn't mine originally either, but she adopted me. So John gave her to me.
You hear how Callie is. Like, she's mine, even though she's not mine.
Mm-hmm. Animals choose. In a house with multiple people, you have no choice. If the animal chooses you, you're stuck with it.
For the longest time, when I would come over here, she would run downstairs and hide.
Well, yeah, because you were a stranger.
Right, but when I moved in here, it took her a while. But within, I would say like a month and a half, maybe, she was everywhere I would go. She would go. She'd sit by the back door waiting for me to come back in. If I wouldn't let her in, if I was in the bathroom, she'd sit by the door. If I went downstairs, she'd follow, like everywhere. Like, she's my little puppy, but she's a cat.
Yeah. Well, my cats aren't going to know what to do when my son moves out and I can open up all the doors and everybody has free reign of the whole house. They're going to be like, what's going on? They're going to be waiting for a big dog to jump out at them or something.
Right.
Marty actually ran out my door, the front door of my room, because I have two doors in my room. And the one goes out to the front door, the entryway. And I was coming in and Marty went under the wheelchair before I could stop her. I was like, shit. I'm like, Rogue, get the cat, my son's dog. Because him and Marty love to play with each other, but if Marty is actually moving, Rogue is like, oh, look, my toy is moving, and she'll chase her. So Rogue actually herded my cat back into my room for me. Because my son was sleeping, so if the cat gets out there, I can't catch her. I'm in a damn wheelchair, you know? So, yeah, I look down, the cat's back under the wheelchair in the room, and I'm like, get your butt over there, and nudged her with the good foot, you know? And she's like, me. And Rogue's looking at me. I was like, good for Rogue.
Funny thing right now, my dad just referred to Allie as daughter number 1. I thought only you two people did that.
That's funny. Well, my son and his friend, his friends, Hector and Dorothea, they're supposed to go look at another house on Monday. So I have a feeling that by the end of the month, my son is going to be gone, which means I really have to get my leg kicked into gear. And regardless of whether or not any more of those pockets open up, I'm going to have to risk getting an infection and force the use of this legs because I can't put my dog out in the wheelchair. I can't get the wheelchair out into that back room. So it's not really a back room. It's more like a little tiny add-on, and wheelchair won't. I can't get back there to get to the back door. So yeah. I mean, I have no problem living by myself. I really don't. Although the fall factor is kind of scary to know that I could fall and there's nobody here to help me. But I know how to dial 911. As long as I can reach my phone, I'll be fine. I'm hurt, but because I have managed to figure out how to do pretty much everything else. I can cook in the frying pan, just not a pot because the wheelchair's not up high enough. But if I can get the prosthetic going and get using that again, then I can get to the wheelchair. The wheelchair will get me to where I need to go, and then I can stand up. It's just my knees will not allow me to actually walk. Which kind of sucks. I was looking forward to walking. You know what I mean? But my knees decided no. But at least I'll be able to stand. I'll be able to cook food, you know? And I'll be able to I can take a couple of steps. It hurts, but I can take a couple of steps. So I'll be able to get to the back door, let the dog in and out, do laundry. That'd be nice. Since I asked my son to do my laundry and, 3 weeks later, I still don't have it back. But there'll be less attitude against me in my house, and I'll get work done. So get back to my jewelry and get all my stuff going and make some pretties that I can try and sell. Yeah. And the animals will have free run of the house. And I can get these boxes out of my damn room. They'll go in the living room. Boom. I don't have any living room furniture, so all these things behind me will be gone. I can actually reach my windows. And I'll probably try and get the cat tree in my room. It should fit through the doorways. We have pretty wide doorways. And that way the cats won't always be in there with me when I'm working. They'll have their cat tree. Well, sarcastic, that's an interesting mental image. Huh. Zippity-doo-dah. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. Never going to listen to that song the same ever again. I got my SD card for my new phone finally. I haven't put it in yet because I have to reach the box that has the little pokey thing that you put in. I'm going to have to take my case off again. I don't like the case. And unfortunately, I have two spots where the little stick thing didn't stick down so well. The protector thingy, screen protector. The glass thing that goes on it. But my screensaver for my lock screen is really cool. I don't know if you guys all saw it. Hold on, I'll make me big, which doesn't happen very often. So, see it? Isn't that cute?
That's adorable.
Isn't it cute? And then, oops, what the hell is that? Still getting used to the phone. Then that is currently my home screen wallpaper, which is pretty cool. Yes, thanks to Tina, I went down a rabbit hole and got lost in the land of screensavers for like 45 minutes. I was like, but I saw that Groot and Grogu one, and I was like, oh my god. So yeah, I grabbed that one. Well, I wanted my phone to be pretty. So I have that as my lock screen, and I have a bunch of different Galaxy ones and all that for my home screen.
Sorry, I'm back now.
Welcome back. The reason I didn't use Grogu and Groot as my home screen is because I have that like Google thing, the Google search bar in the middle of it. And I looked in this, it doesn't give me Google anywhere else. So if I want to do a search on my phone, I have to have that bar. And when I push on it, all it gives me is remove. So it would disappear and I wouldn't have it. So I got to keep it there. I'm sure I can move it around somehow, but I haven't figured that out yet. I'm still exploring my phone.
I think Allie's coming over here.
But the case itself was supposed to be a lot brighter, and it's like muted, but that's my That's my case that I got, which is pretty, but it's supposed to be, the colors are supposed to be a lot brighter than they are. They're kind of like it's all faded. They had some that were galaxies that glow in the dark. It'd be like a purple galaxy on the case, and then if you turn the lights off, it's like green galaxy because it glows. It's pretty cool. I might get one of those. I don't know. I'm not real happy with the case. It came with a free screen cover thing, though, so it was included. So just imagine, at some point, we might get to the point where all of this crap behind me isn't here anymore. And I won't look like I live in a storage unit anymore. Because I'm sure my background gets sarcastic, all excited, because, he does storage units. He's probably like, I want to go through all that stuff. No. No, it's mine. My mother, anxiety attack. She came over to help me rearrange things and help clean after Issa moved out, and my son wasn't doing anything. So she took one look at my room and she goes, oh, well, we can go through these and start throwing things away. And I was like, no. This is my entire life. This is all I have left in the world. Don't touch it. You know what I mean? I'm like, get out of my room, Mom. So we just kind of shuffled things around and moved stuff. So I was like, I just need it moved around, Mom, so I have more space. She goes, are you sure we can't go through them? I'm like, I've already downsized 4 times. Every time I moved, I downsized. I got rid of junk. What's left is memories and stuff that I want. No. And craft supplies. Like a quarter of my stuff is craft supplies. Which will at some point all be put to good use. And I am on my last bought cigarette and will have to roll cigarettes. It's funny, I asked my neighbor to run to the store for me. My neighbor starts giving me a lecture. He texted me back with, I'll do it this time, but your mom just got you two cartons of cigarettes. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? Donnie has memory issues. So when he came over, I was like, Donnie, my mom hasn't picked me up cigarettes in a month. I've been rolling my cigarettes. I'm like, I ran out of tobacco, and I'm supposed to get some like in a couple days. So yeah, storage, sarcastic. I've noticed that. I mean, people get a lot of useful stuff out of storage units, and most storage units, I mean, I lost a storage unit, okay, when up in Massachusetts. I had put stuff in storage, and I moved here, and before I got paid, they wanted their monthly amount. I didn't have any money. I asked my mom if I could borrow $70 so I could pay it, and I would pay her back with my first paycheck. Mom said no, and 1 month payment in Massachusetts, and they auctioned my stuff. And they didn't even send me notice that they were auctioning it. They just said, if you don't have, you need payment, blah, blah, blah. And if I had known when they were going to auction my stuff, I would have had a friend of mine in Massachusetts get it, and I would have paid them back. You know what I mean? But yeah, I had a king size bedroom set, king size mattress box spring, bed frame, and it was a bookshelf bed frame, like bookcase. The headboard was a bookcase headboard with the lights. A tall dresser, like the man's dresser. And then I had the shorter dresser with the mirror that had the little shelves on the sides. That set was gorgeous. And it wasn't that cheap crap either. It was, that bedroom set cost my dad $2,000. And then I had about $3,000 worth of Beanie Babies and Beanie Buddies that I had collected from my kids for their future investment if they were worth anything in the future, except for a few that were mine. I had a bunch of Hamilton collection and Danbury Mint things, collectibles that were in there. I can't remember what else was in there. I know I had a lot of my kids' pictures and stuff, so I was really upset that I lost those. Nobody ever tried to contact me to give me back any personal items. So it makes me happy when I see people that go through storage units that they come across personal photos or letters or whatever, and they try and contact the original owners or whatever to give them back. It makes me happy. Morning, Tina.
Morning, sunshine.
What are you doing
Morning,
up this
Tina.
early? You were up late last night.
I miss Amy. And yeah, I got sucked into the rabbit hole of TV.
Karma.
I watched every freaking movie. Kate Beckinsale's fault. Sorry.
I love Kate Beckinsale. I love her.
Underworld. Couldn't help it.
She's my girlfriend that she doesn't know she's my girlfriend.
Right?
Yeah, I love her. I was showing off my screensaver
Uh-huh.
and my lock screen. I told them it was your fault. I got trapped down a rabbit hole looking at wallpapers.
It happens.
Yeah. Especially when you talk to Tina. She's all like, oh, I got to find this. And then, boom, I'm on Google, lost in the rabbit hole of Google Images.
It happens.
It's all Tina's fault.
Hey, TG.
It's all Tina's fault. Wendy is missing.
Right?
She's not here. Yeah, well, I mean, you know what I mean? It's sarcastic. I mean, they try and get it back to the owner. You know what I mean? And like I've seen, I know people say a lot of stuff is fake, okay? But I've seen like what the Hales return stuff and units, you know, like literally just bring the stuff to these people's houses and stuff. And what do they call it? Restored to the love, which is pretty awesome. Hey, Tim.
Hey, Tim.
But nobody, the storage facility knew how to reach me, obviously, or I would have gotten the letter that I was late. You know what I mean? And they never tried to return anything to me or contact me about anything left for me. So, although my husband was like, oh, if I knew the unit was going up on auction, I would have bought it. And that's the last thing I want is him fucking his girlfriend in my bed. Hello? He'd already done that once. Or more than once. I don't know. But there was once that I know of. So, yeah, I was like, haha.
So, well, I missed. Just a brief recap.
You want a brief recap of an hour and a half? This Nikki and hi, Tim. Well, let's see. I talked about working loss prevention for like an hour. And then we were just, and I picked on Paul for a little while. I did not take his wrench away. I'm just too lazy to do it today.
No.
But it's still there. It's still going to happen one of these days. So you never know when. He's yard sailing, so he's scared. He couldn't come in. And yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
I can't help it. I'm boring. Oh, sarcastic, yeah. Well, I mean, if a newer buyer tries doing that, you have to be established to be very secure in what you're doing. You have to have been around the block a few times. You know what I mean? So you can judge whether or not that's a good idea.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, I'm kind of torn. You know, when I first started watching the storage unit buyers, I was kind of torn because I'm like, did people go through my stuff with that lackadaisical attitude? Like, oh, this is junk, this is junk, this is junk. You know what I mean? Stuff that was precious to me, they're just tossing. And it kind of hurt. But then I was like, well, then again, stuff that I had is going to go to people that want it. So it obviously was time for me not to have it anymore, you know, but I know some of the alternate religious items that I might have had
Yeah.
in that unit probably got thrown away, and that makes me sad. Because I've watched storage unit buyers, and they'll come across like pagan material, Wicca, or, things that are not their own religion, and they throw it away. And I'm like, do you realize how much money you just threw in the trash? Because those books are a lot of money. I watched Thrift Trader do that when he was going through one of the units. He first started calling it, what was it? He called it the steampunk unit, but it was actually a woman who was Wiccan. And she had, stacks of books, and he threw them all in the trash. He threw probably about $300, $400 worth of books in the trash. I was literally watching that video crying. I'm like, oh my God.
Hey, Susie.
What was really sweet is when Conky and Jeremy bought a unit and they shared it, and they each took like half the unit. They each ended up with pagan items in their unit. And Conky was like, I don't know what we're going to do with it. And I was like, I'll take it. And he was like, you want it? I'm like, hell yeah. I was like, let me know how much you want for it. And they sent it to me. And they didn't ask me for anything for it. So I have a box of stuff, which I just actually went through again. And the box smells so good because it's got incense in it. And that was very sweet. Because I wouldn't throw Christian things away. It's money. Everything is money when you have a storage unit. It doesn't matter if you follow that faith or not. It's money. But it's funny because they'll throw away the books. They'll throw away any kind of written material. But they keep the crystals, and and they'll probably toss or melt any kind of jewelry. You know what I mean? But anything that is not obviously another religion, they'll keep and they'll sell. When it's still part of that religion, it's funny. I find that ironic.
Don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah, sarcastic. That's the best way to do it. If the facility is on the up and up and they actually contact the people, then yeah, that's the best way to do it. But to let you know, sarcastic, if you come across any pagan items, let me know. We can talk. We'll talk. If you're the kind of person that throws them away because you don't follow that religion and you don't want to propagate that religion, I'm already that religion. Contact me. I just don't like to see those things go to waste, So Jeremy threw all that stuff away from that unit because I asked him. But Conky still had some of it, so that's why he sent it to me. It was very sweet of him. Conky's so sweet. I love Conky and Noreen.
Yeah, they're good people.
So if anybody hasn't checked out Conky's channel, it's Conky's Flippin' Adventures. And him and his wife Noreen are very sweet. They do an auction every Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, every Saturday night. Yeah.
And I'm doing pretty good, TG.
I couldn't understand why, and I've told everyone that does storage units, being pagan, if I had a storage unit and I came across a bunch of Christian items, I'm not going to toss them. I'm going to put them up for sale. I know that's money. You know what I mean? So there is a market for everything.
There certainly is.
And because so many pagan things are priced higher than a lot of other things, normal things, people that are pagan are looking for bargains. So they're looking to buy stuff like that at a lower price than what they would have to pay retail or from a specialty shop. So, yeah, money, hello. That was my last store cigarette, Tina.
Uh-oh.
Yep. Everybody gonna hear me rolling cigarettes now.
Gonna be the rolling of the cigarette.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. Put it on BBC last night because I was like, okay, Underworld, no big deal. I'll pass out. No,
Who
no.
can pass out with sexy vampires and werewolves? I mean, come on.
It just
Especially when none of them sparkle. Okay.
it just did not happen. No.
I have a lot of those movies on DVD. John bought them for me whenever he found one.
Mm-hmm.
Like at the pawn shop or something, he'd buy it for me. So I have like 3 or 4 of the Underworld movies on DVD.
But I sure did.
I love Kate Beckinsale.
I watched them all.
Now, they should have had her play in the one that she wasn't in. The daughter that supposedly reminded him, the girl that reminded, because that girl didn't look anything like Kate Beckinsale, and she didn't act as good. She wasn't as good an actress. So if they really wanted to make it believable that this girl, looked like his daughter and reminded him of his daughter, they should have had her play it.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
I did. I watched them.
What are you talking about?
Underworld.
Oh, okay.
You haven't watched the Underworld movies, have you?
I think I've seen one.
Amy is kind of like Wendy. She doesn't watch any good movies.
Hey, when I was my teeth and I was sick and all that junk, I couldn't really do much. So I laid in my bed and I watched all the Transformers movies. I'd only seen the first one. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The first one was enough to get me hooked.
I know. But see, I went on I'm an adult, so I stopped watching TV like altogether. And then I forgot all about the rest of them.
Ooh.
So they were all on whatever the freaking thing I use to watch movies. Amazon Prime, that's the word. Got it. They were all on there, so I'm like, why not? Yeah.
And you just didn't.
I just went with it. And
Gotcha.
it started playing, like one would end and it would just go into the next one. So I just went with it.
But yeah, I did. Fell into the rabbit hole and I couldn't stop.
Kate Beckinsale is addictive.
Yes.
Yep.
I tried to watch Lord of the Rings. Remember that when I was talking to you about it? How do you watch that?
Very easily.
No, it wasn't, because I'm like, what did he just say? What? Huh? Like
I marathoned all 3 of them.
It could have been that I'm trying to watch a movie and I have a kid in each ear. Hey, mom. Hey, mom. Hey, mom. So I couldn't like comprehend what was going on in the movie with them in my ear.
Which movie? I miss it.
Lord of the Rings.
Oh my God, I love Lord of the Rings.
But my kids like to try to talk to me during a movie, and you can't do that.
I love the Hobbit movies too. Mm-hmm.
I did watch, I don't know which one it was, but I watched a Harry Potter movie with mom and dad.
Cool.
I was like, I have no idea what's going on. Well, that's because it was like the second or third one, and I didn't see the ones before, so I was all confused. I'm like, whatever, I still watched it.
So
it's like
yesterday, Mark?
Victoria started watching The Mandalorian. Her and Todd got Disney Plus for a month so that she could watch The Mandalorian because she heard everybody talking about it. She does not understand it. I'm like, ugh. I was like, Victoria, you need a Mandalorian translator. She goes, I do. I'm like, mm. But you have to understand the original 3 Star Wars movies in order to understand a lot of what's going on in The Mandalorian. I mean, you can watch it without it, but if you have watched the original 3, I won't say the first 3 because they have episode 1, 2, and 3, which, we're done later. But if you watch the first ones, then you can see it like Easter eggs and different things in the show that make more sense.
Yeah.
So, like Issa would not understand the Mandalorian at all because she didn't understand any of the Star Wars movies or
I don't
Lord of
know
the
that
Rings.
I would understand it.
She didn't understand Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit or any of the Marvel movies.
Oh my
What?
God. See,
Now the Marvel movies that's something that me and Andrew, oh my gosh. A new one would come out, Mom, we have to go see it. We have to go see it. I'm like, I don't want to. I hate the movie theater. In case you didn't know that. I think it's just because it's in public, really. But which one was it? I don't remember which movie it was.
give us a synopsis.
I think it was Spider-Man. I don't know. He made me watch like every single one of them in like a weekend. I don't remember what it was now. Oh my.
My son and I used to go to the movie theater when the Star Wars movies came out. That was our thing. And then we went and saw a couple of the Marvel movies. But
The last movie I seen at a movie theater was The Last Night at the Museum.
and then money got tight, and then I got sick, and now I can't go. So, I mean, our movie theaters do have space for wheelchairs, but they're down in front on the floor. So I'd be like cricking my neck the whole time, and
Right.
you know.
Oh, our places, our theaters here, they have platforms at the very back by the doors
Yeah.
where you can park your wheelchairs and watch movies.
Well,
We
our
have them like
doors,
throughout the whole thing because we have some, like we have a couple like aisles that don't have chairs. It's for wheelchairs. We have some in the back and we have some in the front in ours. The local one anyway.
our theater, like when you walk in, you're walking in. There's walls on either side of you. You walk in, and there's seats on the floor, but then there are stairs that go up. So there's no ramp that goes up. It's just stairs.
Yeah, we have no stairs. We have, it's all ramp.
Yeah, that's how
So-
ours is too.
So yeah, I would have to
Well-
be.
I don't know if it's still like that because they just converted the local one. They just converted it from like a regular movie theater to the like the recliner type seats instead. I haven't been there since they did that. They upped their prices. I am not spending $12 a person to go watch a dang movie that I can wait and rent it from Redbox.
12. I paid $22 once to see a movie.
Oh no.
Well,
Yeah,
I paid
no,
44 actually because it was me and my son.
not doing that
It was one of the Star Wars movies.
again.
Of course it was.
But John and I used to go to the movies every once in a while, just because we needed something to do, basically. And I think one of the last movies we went to see was Super 8. I was so fucking bored with that movie. I was like, what the hell am I watching? It sucked.
I didn't think it was that bad. It was a bunch of kids.
I know, and it sucked. I was like, what in the fuck is happening here? I was like, no. I was like, you picked this movie. He goes, yeah, but you picked that Scorpion movie that had the paper mache scorpions. I'm like, shut up. That was years ago. He never let me forget that movie. Because I like stupid animal movies. That's what John and my son call them, is mom stupid animal movies.
Uh-huh.
Like
I can picture a
Jaws.
movie with scorpions.
It's something about scorpion, and it was before Snakes on a Plane, and it was actually like scorpions on a plane. And the scorpions literally were like paper mache. They were so fake, and it was so stupid. We ended up watching like the first 10 minutes of it, and we shut it off. This was, now, mind you, this was when Blockbuster still existed. So That's how long ago that was. Matter of fact, I think it was 2 years before Blockbuster closed. So yeah, that was a long time ago. But it was really stupid, and he has never let me live it down. And then after Super 8, he shut up about it. So, but see, they would have considered Jaws to be a stupid animal movie. That's the type of movies, or like it's like campers or something that get attacked by grizzly bears, or Day of the Animals. If you have ever seen that, it's a really old one from like the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
I love that movie. And they would call that one of Mom's stupid animal movies.
Also, like, the Meg, or
Yep.
the Shallows.
Yep. So, yeah. And I didn't care because I like them and I like what I like. And if they didn't like it, they didn't have to watch it. So, if they said, hey, let's go rent a movie and I'm paying for it, I'll get the movie I want.
True.
I'm like, Mom, but we don't have anything to watch. She said, yeah, you do. We don't want to watch that. Then you're not watching anything, are you? Well, John liked horror and he liked like psycho mindfuck movies, which I don't get into.
Oh,
It's like when the murderer ends up being the 5-year-old next door, I'm good. You know what I mean? Everything points at her parents and it turns out that it's her. No. I'm good with the psycho thrillers. And my son likes action, which I don't really mind action movies too bad. I like action. Hey, where you go?
I'm here. I'm just flip-flopping around, and I don't like doing it while I'm on the camera.
Okay. I do that too, and I completely understand. So my son liked
Hey, casual.
Hey, casual. My son liked what was that assassination movie? It's also a video game. I forget what it is. He's got the barcode on his neck or whatever.
Marco.
I know that Oliphant. Last name's Oliphant. I know he played the assassin. Fuck, I forget the name of it. But my son watched that like 5 times.
I say, I'm not 100% sure on anything like that. I just know that,
Tina.
The name Alphont doesn't ring a bell with me. Sorry. As far as actor.
Timothy Oliphant. That was his name. The movie that I like him the best in was Gone in 60 Seconds.
Ooh, that was a good movie.
Yeah. And
I love those cars.
Remember when they're trying to catch Nicolas Cage and the big wrecking ball hits the police car and it goes through the wall?
Yeah.
And he goes running over. He goes, "Are you okay? Because you just went through a wall." I love that line. I don't know why, but I love that line. It's just so sarcastic. Like they didn't know they just went through a wall. You know what I mean?
Right?
It's like, just in case you didn't know. Let me see. Load page. Come on. My laptop is so damn slow. Yeah, he was also in one of the I know it. Die Hard. He was in a Die Hard movie. He was the bad guy in the Die Hard movie with the stoner kid and the fire sale and all of that. I forget which Die Hard that was, but he was the bad guy. He was the main lead in Justified too.
Never watched Justified.
Oh, he was in I Am Number 4. I don't remember him being in that, but
Oh, I do know I Am Number 4.
he's in 47. And then, ironically, the movie was called Hitman. I should have known. Assassin, Hitman, whatever. Yeah, it's a video game, and He Live Free or Die Hard. That's the one he was in. He was in Deadwood. Sorry, I'm getting lost in the rabbit hole. Tina, it's all your fault.
Deadwood was a good series. It was a Western.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, he played a hitman guy, and like a trained hitman from it was a corporation or something. They raised them from kids to be killers or something.
Oh.
But my son watched that multiple times. Retrospect, maybe I should not have let him watch that movie. But
But
yeah,
that's it still doesn't resonate with me, but I've watched so many, kind of like when last night going through movies on Score
yeah,
with Jimmy, Jeff, and Dan. I was just like, they kept going through movies. Everybody was putting movies in chat, and I'm going, that one's good, yeah, nah, and I'm just like,
what I found interesting is that person Alexandra something
yeah,
had a pentacle as her icon.
I
was like, huh, there you go, girl. I noticed. Sorry, it's just something I noticed. But yeah, I want to watch Red Planet again because I like Val Kilmer, and it's in a role that he's actually playing an adult and not Batman.
Val Kilmer was good in Tombstone.
Yeah, he was really good in Tombstone. But I loved Red Planet.
I'm your Huckleberry.
One of the classics. Just think of me as your sister. He's like, I have two sisters. They don't look like you. When he catches a chick coming out of the shower. A good movie. Definitely a good movie. The robot dog named Amy, and he's like, hey there, sweetheart. And one of the other guys goes, is it a robot or is it your date? And Val Kilmer goes, well, it's been a long flight. Val Kilmer got some good lines in that movie. He really did. Although Amy later tries to kill him, I was like, oh, so it's like one of my dates. But it's finally happened. That time that the teachers told us algebra might save our lives. Because they landed in the wrong place and had to try and find this place that was starting terraforming. Mm-hmm. And they had to calculate where they were and where it was and da-da-da. And it's like it's finally happened. Oh, where's my little pushy thing?
Your tamper?
Yeah. My pushy thing. I hate actual names of things. It's thingamabobs. I'm like Ariel, man. Thingamajiggies and whatchamabobs and whoosy what's it. I got 10 of those.
I'm sure you do in the land somewhere.
I actually do have a bunch of these somewhere. Tina, what are people going to do when they don't see all the boxes?
I don't know. You're going to have to do something, decorate behind you, because it will be scary.
I know, right? Dan doesn't have all Grogu. Grogu and Groot. I
could deal with that. That would be nifty.
Yeah, I can't afford to do that. But at least I'll be able to reach the walls to get all the cobwebs off them. And I'll be able to open my window.
Yay!
Yay!
Fresh air.
Yeah. Now, if there were screens on all the windows in the house, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Although, with these fat-ass cats I got, I wouldn't be able to open the windows very far because I'd be afraid they'd push on the screens and fall out.
Yeah, it's not like you can go out and chase their little fat asses.
Yeah. And there are a few windows in the house that have screens, so I can open the windows a little bit. Not enough for the cats to put any weight on the screens. Because the animals are not going to know what to do with this entire house to wander around in.
I'm sure they'll figure it out.
Well, I'm sure they will too.
And you'll be going, where the flip is this one and where the flip is that one? And the next thing you know, you'll have a Cat 500 going on and you'll be getting trampled from a whole lot faster speed at distance.
Yeah, that's when I fuck with them and close one of the doors. Close the door to my craft room and I'll hide in there. And I will ask the landlord to come and make repairs, whether it costs me extra or not, because that window needs to be fixed. Still haven't heard anything from any of them about that. And the back door is broken. My main back door is broken. I don't know what the hell happened to it. I was not here. I was not living here at the time. But the doorknob is gone. So the only thing that holds the door closed is a deadbolt.
Okay, so there's like a hole where the doorknob's supposed to be?
Mm-hmm. Which is not conductive to saving energy because the only other... Cat, what? You pick now?
Hi, Marty.
She waits until I start rolling cigarettes to walk directly in front of me, risking all the tobacco going everywhere. She does this on purpose. Yeah, it's not conductive to holding heat or cool air in because it's like my main back door. Oh, we lost Amy.
Nope.
My main back door, and then it's the little utility area. So I have like 3.5 feet of space.
Yeah.
And the washer and dryer, and then the storm door.
Yeah.
So the storm door is not holding anything back. I mean, you can feel a temperature change from when you open that screen door, but the storm door, but it's the utility room still heats up or gets really cold.
Yeah.
It's not insulated. So having a hole from the doorknob just open.
I'd be having cardboard and...
Well, we can't because then we can't open the damn door. There's no hug it. You know what I mean? Because I can't reach the deadbolt. I mean, I could. I have to stretch, but I don't know. I'd be able to figure out something, but I'd rather have a doorknob there and have that door a little more secure.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm living here by myself. Now, the storm door is also busted. It doesn't stay closed unless you latch it with the little eye hooks that are on it, which I don't know. Well, I'll be able to reach it because hopefully I'll be able to stand up by then. Otherwise, I'm not going to get out there anyway, so it's not going to matter. But right now, sitting in the wheelchair, I wouldn't be able to latch the door comfortably.
Yeah.
So... And I'll have to have my mom come over and help me get things organized in the kitchen so I can reach things. Which means there's a lot of cabinet space I will not be able to use. Although I'm determined to get this leg going, get this leg thing situation working, whether it...
Are you keeping those wounds open and not scabbed over?
Yeah, well, I mean, they have, right now, there's 2 of them, and they're scabbed over. They're healing.
But you need to keep them open. You don't want to let them scab over.
I took the scabs off yesterday, which I know people, it sounds gross, and I apologize. But with fluid building up in them, I have to keep them open so they drain. I did take the things off. I'll just say things, because scab's just a nasty word. And nothing came out of either one of them. So they're both drained completely and healing. Fingers crossed that they stay that way, and I don't have to risk getting an infection trying to use the damn leg. It's very frustrating because I should already have my permanent leg.
Yeah.
Because this is the leg they use to get you used to using your prosthetic and to get your leg shaped correctly so that it's more comfortable to use. And I should already have my permanent one, and I do not. Because I haven't even been able to use this one. So it's very frustrating. I mean, I was so excited to get this leg because when we were doing the testing and I was in the office, I walked without a problem. I mean, my prosthetic, I was absolutely amazed that after a year of not walking, I just got up and walked, And then I get home and I can't use it. and I don't know if it's because the physical therapy bars were at a certain height or what, but when I went to do it with the walker, it wouldn't do it. Now I don't know if maybe it's the walker height that caused problem. Like I don't have enough support because I have the walker with the wheels on it and the little seat, you know.
Oh, okay, Amy.
Okay, Amy, love you, girl. If I need one of those ones that's solid, you know, that you
No
pick up and
wheels?
move. Yeah, no wheels. I like my wheels.
Well, if you need one that's solid, no wheels, I got you covered, girl.
Okay. I mean, I'll talk to my prosthetic guy eventually when I'm able to get there, and ask him if maybe that's the problem. But my knees did start twinging the last time I was there when we had the final adjustments on my leg, which I still think I need to have him make more adjustments because when I sit down on a surface so my both feet are flat,
Yeah.
my left leg is higher, my knee is higher than my right, which tells me that the length of my leg is longer than the length of my regular leg. So something's going on that, you know, it's hard with the wheelchair because the seat caves in a little bit. But I noticed it when I got in Issa's car.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sitting there with my feet, the prosthetic foot flat and my foot flat, and my left knee was up higher. And I'm like, that's going to offset my back really bad. So I don't think that has an issue. It might have an issue on my knees too, but it's the walking motion now that bothers my knees. I can stand up straight and my knees won't hurt. Because I did that when my mom was here. I would lock the wheelchair down, like I had to put the window down. So I locked the wheelchair down and I stood up using the window and the desk as support. I was able to put the window down and then sit back in the wheelchair. No pain. Well, other than normal.
Yeah.
But when I tried to walk with the walker, I made it, you know, the first time I made it from my room through what's now the craft room and halfway across the living room, and I had to get in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
Luckily, the wheelchair was right there. And the second time, I didn't make it through with the craft room, and I had to sit on the table that was by the door and wait for my son to get out of the bathroom and go get me the wheelchair. Because my knees were just crunching so bad, I couldn't do it. And it wasn't just the bad knee. It was, well, I have arthritis in both knees, but my right knee that I did damage to, it wasn't just that one. I had the knee brace on that. It didn't hurt as bad as it would have without the knee brace, but it was my left knee too. So it was just so painful and it wasn't painful to bend it and to put my foot forward. What was painful was pulling myself forward to take that step. Because you don't realize the pressure that's on your legs when you walk. You know what I mean? It's just something you don't think about.
Yeah.
But when things hurt with certain motion, you think about it. So, yeah, like I've said before, I might end up with it being just a process of a combination of the wheelchair and the prosthetic.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I can work with. As long as I can take a couple of steps with that prosthetic, I'm good. I don't need to walk with a prosthetic. I can deal with a wheelchair to get around. And as long as, like, if I'm at Walmart and I'm in the wheelchair, which, by the way, being in a wheelchair in Walmart, trying to shop, pain in the ass, because how do you push a shopping cart if you're in a wheelchair? But see, I would not be able to get into their electric carts, which you can only minimally shop because the basket's this fucking big.
Yeah, the basket on the scooters is very small. That's why when we actually go to Walmart, I'm in the buggy or I'm on the scooter and Tim's pushing a buggy.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean, Issa and John would hold on to the shopping cart and Issa would push the wheelchair. And
that's our next step. I told Tim, I said, you know, we can always put my wheelchair in the car and I can sit in the wheelchair and he can push the wheelchair and I'll push the buggy.
Yeah. And Talon, you know how the wheelchairs have the little lip things on the back on the bottom?
Yeah.
Talon would stand on those and hold on to the back of the wheelchair. So, or he'd sit in his dad's lap, but he'd usually want to hold on to that. And that would be their little train was Issa and then Talon on the back of the wheelchair, John in the wheelchair, and the shopping cart in front of them. And then them taking corners was interesting to watch, let me tell you. But, and me just walking behind them going, I don't know these people. But I mean, right now I can't get into one of those electric carts because you have to be able to get up and step up onto it. I only have one leg, so I can't do that. So I can't go to a store. I mean, the only transportation I have is my mom. She cannot lift the wheelchair in and out of the car. The wheelchair is so uncomfortable for me to sit in that I don't even want to get in it to, go to the door,
Yeah.
I mean,
while I appreciate the electric scooters at the stores, I miss them having actual wheelchairs available. Because now they have these, what they call these specialty wheelchairs for the handicap. And I'm not fond of those.
Well, what pisses me off is when people don't put those chairs back to recharge.
And I do that every time. I'm a good girl.
We try, we always try to do that. Regardless of who used it, somebody would always take it back inside and put it on the charger.
Yeah.
Because we've shown up, when John was in the wheelchair, he was able to get up and get into one of those scooter things sometimes. But we'd show up and all of them were out in the parking lot. Like the car pushers were just going around them. And it's like, bring them back in. Because some people, they have to take those out to their vehicle to get into their vehicle. And they can't bring them back. But the car pushers are supposed to do that.
Yeah, in all actuality, those things aren't even supposed to go outside.
Yeah, but there are some people that can't get in the store without them, so.
Yeah. But and it's in the cold, the battery, cold zaps that battery.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I haven't even been able to get to a store or go in a store in 3 years. 2.5, 3 years. I have not been inside a store. It's very depressing. I want to go shopping. And I don't even care if I buy anything. I just want to go to the store. So, yeah, I mean, my mom, there's just no way. I mean, when I used to take John places and he was just in the wheelchair and he really couldn't walk at all.
Yeah.
He would get in the car and I'd have to put his wheelchair in the back of the car. And let me tell you, with my back, and this is the same wheelchair, so I know my mom wouldn't be able to lift it. And I mean, even if my son was able to put it in the car, how's we going to get it out of the car?
Yeah.
So. But, I mean, I'll get it all figured out eventually. It's just, I've been patient for so long that being this close to the goal and keep having delays, just like with my crafter, I'm so close to getting that set up.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, hey, by the way, I told Hector I'd babysit his cats. So I'm like, what? And we're working on 2 weeks, or a week. 2 Fridays, because the cats came last Friday. So it's 2 Fridays that me and my mom haven't been able to do anything with putting stuff in that room.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've got some stuff in there. Luckily, I didn't set anything up, or these cats would have, especially the one cat, because it's so young, would have been all over everything. Everything would have been scattered, So, everything's still in boxes and whatnot. But my son is feeding them on the cat tree. I'm not pleased about that. I'm like, and it's wet food. I'm like, they're gonna drip wet food all over the cat tree. What are you doing?
You.
I mean, I would be a little miffed about him feeding them on my desk or my table, but at least that's washable,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah, he does not like their big furry cat at all. He doesn't mind the kitten, which is about 6 months old, maybe 7 months old, something like that. It's young. But he does, and I think my son is holding a grudge because that's the cat that broke his TV.
I see.
Wow, my people went down to 2. I had 10 at one point. Started talking about health stuff and everybody left.
Oh,
Man,
I came in and everybody left.
it's a part of life. People deal with it. I'm not being negative. I mean, just saying how it is. And but I started showing my frustration about the cats yesterday with my son. I was like, look, it's getting a little ridiculous. You said for a few days. It's been a week. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, well, the maintenance guys aren't showing. I was like, well, then they need to harass them because if there's work that needs to be done, they need to come and do it. It's part of your rental agreement that, part of their rental agreement that they have maintenance available. If they're not going to be available, the hell. So I am a little concerned that he's going to leave before I'm able to use get the leg on,
Yeah.
Because it's not something I can force. Shrinking my leg is something that takes time. It takes at least 2 weeks to shrink my leg down, and I've had to keep taking the stuff off because of the pockets. So, I mean, he will leave me in a huge bind with the dog if I can't,
No, I know.
Luckily, she is friendly enough that if I asked Donnie to come over to put my dog out, he probably would. But getting Donnie to respond to a text sometimes takes a while, and if my dog really has to go out, what am I going to do? The only other option is to get to the edge of the back room and try and hop on my bad leg, like 4 feet, holding onto the washing machine and the wall to try and put my dog out. That's very, very dangerous for me, because if my right knee gives out, which it has in the past, I'm going to hit the floor and I'm not going to be able to get back up. And since I'll be having to use my hands, my phone I'll have to crawl back to the wheelchair to get my phone. So, and I have to think of all of these things before I do anything now, and it's really annoying. But I have thought about it because I was trying to figure out how the hell I'd put my damn dog out. The only other thing I can do, I don't know what's on the side of my house right now by the driveway. I have no idea what's in that grass area. And the only other thing I could do is have the tie out attached to one of the posts on the porch that holds the roof up, attach it to that so that my dog can go down the stairs and into that side yard. I would have to get a longer runner. That's the only other, and somehow attach it so where I can reach it on the front of like right next to the front door or something.
Yep.
It's the only other, but I don't know what's over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the only other thing. And that's if my dog will even go down there, I mean, if she goes down the ramp instead, it's not going to do any good. Because all I need is her going down the ramp and going around and underneath the ramp and getting tangled up around the posts. I'll never be able to untangle her. I can't get down there and get in the lawn and do that. So, and there's no gate because it's like my stairs are right here. Well, my stairs are right here. Like if this part is my porch.
Yeah.
My stairs are at the end of the porch, and the freaking ramp entrance is right here, right at the edge. It's like that post.
Yeah.
That's on the corner. That's the only thing separating the two. So it's kind of scary when I go down the ramp because I could just go straight forward and go down the stairs. I'm like, they could have moved that over a little bit.
Yeah, or they could have made it a little wider.
Yeah. So, I mean, the opening is fairly wide. I don't actually have to, but like when Issa used to take me up the ramp, she'd take me up backwards to get over that little lip,
Right.
And then she turned me around on the landing to go up the second part of the ramp. And the way she turned me to go up onto the porch, it was just seemed so close that like a wheel could just go over the stairs at any point in time. So it was kind of terrifying. Because Issa's a crappy driver, whether it's a car or a wheelchair. She used to bang me into stuff all the time in the wheelchair. And I'm like, bitch is doing this on purpose. I know she is.
Yeah, I teased Tim that I need to teach him how to drive a wheelchair because he's great going forward and turning corners, but going into a room, I said you got to back into a room. You can't just go forward into one of those little rooms when you go to the doctor.
Yep. Oh yeah, I mean, I used to have the foot pedals up because of my foot being all messed up, when I still had it. And every single time she would slam my foot into the door jamb. Every single time. And I'm like, it's a good thing that my foot is numb, the neuropathy.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't feel that. My leg felt it, but my foot didn't. I would have been screaming. I mean, I had a quarter of my foot missing from surgeries and stuff. I would have been like, the other thing that my neuropathy came in handy for is when the nurse came to clean the wound. I mean, we're talking, it looked like I had a shark bite out of my foot. It was the second surgery, had it all the way to the bone of my heel. And this woman is coming over with saline solution and a freaking piece of gauze and scrubbing the wound.
Ow.
Yeah. And I braced for it the first surgery I had when she came, I braced for it. I was like, it's going to hurt so bad. I didn't feel a damn thing. I was like, what? So for people that have neuropathy in their feet, it goes all the way to the bone. Just saying. I thought it was just like a surface thing, maybe a little bit below the skin. No, the neuropathy went all the way through my foot because she was literally touching everything all the way to my bone that was still there. I never felt a thing. She was like, do you feel that? And I'm like, no. She goes, I think you're lucky. I'm like, I think I am too. I mean, I couldn't even look at my foot without wanting to throw up. It was gross. And that's why I thank the gods for the home healthcare nurse and John, because the days she wasn't here, it had to be cleaned every day. But the days she was not here, John cleaned it for me. When I had my amputation, John cleaned that for me too, but he died before it healed completely. So I had to man up type of thing, pull my big girl panties up and do it myself.
Yeah.
Which I did. It was more healed than when I first had it done because I had been healing for a month and a half when he died. So it wasn't too bad. It was so funny though, because I was so scared that my leg guts were going to fall out. Him and the surgeon found that absolutely hysterical the way I said it. And the surgeon was like, you're what? I'm like, my leg guts, everything that's inside your leg just goes. He was like, that's not going to happen. I'm like, well, it's in my head. He looked at John, he goes, for real? He goes, oh yeah. He goes, how often does she like this? And Tom was like, every damn day. Hey, we made everybody laugh. John and I have to say, John and I don't know if it was so much as brightened everyone's day, but anytime we went to a doctor or whatever, we always made everyone from the nurses to other patients to the doctors, everybody was laughing by the time we were gone.
Yeah.
Just from our shenanigans, because John and I got up to a lot of shenanigans. And the looks on their faces were so funny when John would go, okay, I got to go get my wife out of the waiting area now. And people were like, wait, we thought you two were married. We're like, no. Lisa used to get so mad when she heard people say that. I'd be like, well, if you had a personality.
Yeah, well.
Hey, Tina. Mana.
Do.
It's the little things in life.
Oh,
Still only 2 people. I think we lost everybody.
They're out hitting the yard sales. They're sourcing. You know, who knows what they're doing?
Do you think I should mute while I pack my cigarettes?
Nah,
Okay.
it's just you and me for the most part.
People are going to come in and go, what the hell is that banging sound? You know, I'm being optimistic that people will show up. They got to come in order to hear it. Be like, what the hell?
Right? Right. I got Z Nation playing on the TV.
I do not like that. I did not like that one at all.
Got Z Nation playing. We've got. I couldn't decide which one I wanted to watch. Just like because I'm in between that one and iZombie.
I didn't like that either.
But too campy.
I just didn't like it. You know what's funny is when I came into the score last night after my nap. I'm sitting there, I'm listening to all the movies they're listing off, and almost all of them were what I category as stupid guy humor. You know, like fart jokes in movies and, you know, Monty Python type of thing. That I category all that, like anything with, who's that idiot? Ben Stiller, not Ben Stiller. Ben Stiller's okay. The other one, the Happy Gilmore guy.
Adam Sandler.
Yeah, him. I can't stand him. His movies, things like that. John loved those movies. He loved them. I said, that's because you're a guy and you like stupid guy humor.
I like stupid guy humor. I love Adam Sandler.
Yeah, I cannot stand them. And like South Park.
No, I don't like South Park.
Now, see, I could deal with The Simpsons every once in a while. I could deal with Simpsons.
I like Futurama.
I cannot stand Futurama. John loved it. I couldn't stand it. So I was just like, that's why I messaged you. I'm like, why are we listing off movies? And I'm in my head, I was like, why are we listing off movies that suck? Is that the game? List movies that suck?
They touched on like Mac and Me from the 80s.
Yeah.
And then I put on like, you know, Battery Not Included.
No, I saw a lot of good movies that, you know,
Critters
and nostalgia. Ooh, I'm gonna watch that. I actually have Meatballs saved on my Amazon Prime. I watch that movie all the time. I love that movie with Bill Murray.
Yep.
I have Stripes on there too on my watch list.
Yeah, we own Stripes.
That's a fact, Jack. See that kind of Animal House. I like those movies,
Yep.
but I just the childish fart joke type of movies. I don't know. It bothers me. It irritates me.
Oh, play some cards. Oh, I'm on a live, honey.
Hi.
Blaze.
Hi, Blaze.
Hi.
Enter the grandson.
That's right.
I love his name. I think his name is cool. I mean, that's why I like Talon's name, because the name is unusual, you know? My daughter Kayla, her middle name is Star. I was debating between Star and Storm.
Yeah.
I went with Star with 2 R's, of course.
Of course.
Had to be a little bit different, you know. But being a CB'er, all of the kids had little CB names, you know, so that we weren't referring to them by name on the CB.
Yeah.
So Kayla's name was Star Baby. And I even had a tiny little pink T-shirt printed up with Star Baby on it. It was so cute. And my son was Monkey Boy.
Imagine.
Yeah, because I couldn't keep his feet on the ground. He was climbing everything. One more to go, and camping is over.
But yeah, we were talking about, like I said, they were supposed to be movies that were, either little known or obscure that people may or may not have heard of that you liked.
Yeah. Well, I heard Dan say that everybody should think of movies that are guilty pleasures, but guilty pleasures are something that you don't tell anybody about normally, except in conversations about your guilty pleasures. The problem is that I don't have a problem telling anybody what kind of movies I like, so that's not going to work. I don't have any guilty pleasures. I just have pleasures. Thank you.
My favorite that would be considered, I guess, probably a guilty pleasure would be the movie called Threesome.
That sounds intriguing. You watching orgy videos? Because I'm down. Is this something I can download somewhere?
It's a good movie. I enjoyed it.
Is there a lot of sex in it?
You don't actually see anything.
Well, that's boring. Boring. I really don't have any guilty pleasure. There isn't anything that I watch that I wouldn't admit to anybody or that I wouldn't just outright say.
Yeah.
I mean, my animal movies, I've already said that I like those. And natural disaster movies, I like those. Those campy be like Starship Troopers. I love Starship Troopers. Movies like that, I love those movies. And the guy that plays in Starship Troopers, the original, the guy who plays the lead in that, he's in a whole bunch of like B-type disaster movies, like Fire Twister and things like that. And I've watched all of those. Caspian, I don't know, I don't remember his name. But yeah. Kaz, I'm gonna look it up in a minute.
Yep, you're gonna rabbit hole.
Just because it's gonna bother me because I can't remember it. La la lee, la 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 loo.
It's like the other night we were watching House, and one of the episodes, it was actually almost over, and Tim looks at me and he goes, "Who is that?" So the patient that they were trying to fake.
Yeah.
And I says, "That's Hawkeye." He goes, "Oh, okay." I said, "Yeah, that is a very young Jeremy Renner."
Casper Van Dien.
Ah.
I knew it was Cass something. I don't know if that's exactly how you pronounce it, but it's Casper, like Casper the Ghost, Casper.
Yeah.
And then Van, V-A-N, and then D-I-E-N. So.
Yep. I know exactly who you was talking about.
Yeah.
Once you said the name.
Yeah. And I actually like him as an actor. I do.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody who doesn't, well, I don't care. Now, if you want to get into books that are guilty pleasures, this will turn into an X-rated show.
It will be very much so.
Real quick. Real quick.
But
I read a lot of erotica.
But yeah, like I said, they're talking about, it was supposed to be obscure movies that you like that people may or may not heard of. I was like, Butterbox Babies, What Men Don't Tell.
I don't really think I've watched any wow, my screen is really whited out. What the hell? It's very bright. And what's funny is it's not bright in my room. It's just bright on my face. This is what happens when you're Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've watched any movies that are obscure. There's one that I have, Wild Things. Have you ever watched Wild Things?
Yes, I have.
I love that movie. But that's not one I hear people talk about a lot. So maybe that's considered kind of an obscure movie.
Yeah.
But I mean,
somebody actually put in Xanadu. I'm like, hey, I've got that on VHS.
I remember that movie. Xanadu. Yep. I remember that movie. Yeah.
In fact, I can see it from right here. And then Heart and Souls. I've got that one.
I guess Red Planet would be an obscure one because none of them had heard of it.
What?
Red Planet. The one I was talking about.
Kilmer.
Yeah. I guess that would be considered obscure because Dan hadn't even heard of it.
Wow.
He's like, I've never heard of that one. You should watch it, Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if Val Kilmer's been in it, I've seen it. I'm a huge
I love Val Kilmer.
Huge Val Kilmer fan.
Me too.
And
Me too.
I'd love to be able to go to his studio where he holds all of the art showings at Hellmel Studios.
Yeah. I loved Real Genius when he blew up the guy's house with popcorn.
Yep.
That was freaking awesome. And Weird Science was good too. With Kelly Brock.
Yeah.
That was good. She married Steven Seagal. They were married for a while. I don't know if they still are or not, but I know she married Steven Seagal. I love Steven Seagal in the early 80s.
Yeah.
Throughout the 90s and the first part of the 2000s, his movies sucked. I don't know what the hell he was thinking. But watching a movie with Steven Seagal trying to sound Russian, I had to shut it off. I was like, I can't watch this. What is happening here? What the hell is going on? Yeah, his movies just tanked because I absolutely love Glimmerman. And a few of his others from that time, like the one where he's on the ship.
I don't know. I was not a big Steven Seagal fan.
I loved him. He didn't know it, but he was my boyfriend for a long time.
Yeah, I do. I love movies. I love TV.
He's gained a lot of weight. You know, he was actually a police officer in, I want to say either Arizona or Nevada for a long time. Could you imagine being pulled over by Steven Seagal? I would have been speeding just for that. Under Siege.
I remember the title.
I liked Exit Lines. I liked On Deadly Ground. I liked Above the Law. There was another one that had him and a little girl. She was adorable. She was like supposed to be Native American. Ooh, Above the Law 2 is coming out. Let me see. I have to get to the 90s. Wow, he's got a lot of freaking movies.
He does. He really does.
Yeah, Above the Law was his first one in 88. Hard to Kill, Marked for Death, Out for Justice.
I remember Hard to Kill, Under Siege, the one with the ground.
Yeah, on deadly ground.
Yeah. I think those are the only ones I've ever seen.
Fire Down Below and The Patriot.
Like I said, I wasn't a big Seagal fan.
Yeah, The Patriot is the one that I'm talking about. A respected doctor must race against time to find a cure for a lethal virus unleashed by a paramilitary militia leader. They infect the whole town with this virus, and him and his daughter live outside of town or whatever, and they're not really affected by it. But it ends up being a Native American flower that's used as medicine. Well, it's not a Native American flower, but it's a flower Native Americans use as medicine, ends up being the cure. And what they do, I mean, because the military was going to like bomb the whole town and like kill everyone to kill the virus. Go U.S. government.
That's always their answer.
When they were given the information, they collected these flowers by the millions, and you didn't have to do anything with the flower. You just had to be near it. And the pollen would cure it. And so they dumped like pounds and pounds of these flowers on the town. And they cured people. So
if it was only that simple.
Yeah. I'm like, now that's flower power right there. I mean, I liked the movie. I thought it was a good movie. Now I want to watch it again. But I don't know why. I love that movie and I can never remember the name of it. I always have to look it up and it drives me crazy. But yeah, I really like so many of his early movies, you know, and there's one that he's in. Was it Exit Wounds? Yeah, Exit Wounds is the one he's in with the rapper. DMX. DMX is in it. I like that movie too. DMX just died, as a matter of fact.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Man, that man had so many.
Olympia Dukakis just passed away.
Yeah, I saw that too.
That one hurt me.
Yeah.
I love Olympia Dukakis.
Yeah. Well, apparently DMX overdosed on drugs, which triggered a heart attack. He suffered catastrophic cardiac arrest. That man had so many speeding tickets in my state, it was not funny. And every time he got caught, the government made him do some kind of public service thing. Either he had to go on like Fox Morning News or something. He had to go on something and do some kind of talk show or something to talk about the dangers of speeding and drinking of drugs, all that. And or he'd have to do public appearances or something. The state made a crap ton of money off of DMX, let me tell you.
Where is our Wendy?
I don't know. She hasn't seen the message. But it's Saturday. I mean, she might be visiting with Emily. So
maybe.
But I mean, the woman lives with her phone in her hand. She should have really seen the message.
I know Willow's probably still asleep.
Yeah. I sent the link to her, but I didn't expect Willow to be. I didn't expect you to be here as early as you got here. But thank you. So.
Well, the first time I woke up, it was exactly 8 o'clock your time this morning.
I was up. I was up.
Yeah, well, me and my rabbit hole, one of the last times I looked at a clock, it was about 5 a.m. your time.
Yeah. I was up then too. I've been up since 4 o'clock my time.
Oi.
I fell asleep about 2:30.
Yeah, I just miss it. All I remember was messaging you going, shit.
I will be taking a nap after the live.
But, you know, hey, it's what I do. It's like, yeah, I'm still awake. Oh, look, it's Virginia. Hi, Virginia.
Hey, Virginia. How are you today? It's almost my 3-hour mark.
I know.
Yep.
Oh, Marty.
She's licking my hand. Weirdo. She was sleeping, and I ran my hand on the corner of her mouth. And then apparently now it's bath time. I don't know. Cats are weird. It's, hi, I'm going to give you some love, and then I'm going to use you for leverage so I can pay myself. Yeah, Virginia, I've been on almost 3 hours.
Yep.
12 more minutes or so, and it will be 3 hours. I've been starting my Saturdays at 9 o'clock Eastern. Tina has one tomorrow. What time is yours tomorrow, Tina?
Be 10:15 Eastern.
Don't forget to pop the link to that. Are you on your phone or your computer?
Computer.
Okay. Pop it. Pop it good.
Just got to get in it.
Give it to me good, baby.
You betcha, honey.
Woohoo. Yeehaw. Yeah, I actually watched, what was the movie that I watched? Steven Seagal. It was like his, you're going to be at church all day, Virginia? Overkill, don't you think? He was in one not too long ago. Well, might have been long ago. Mm-mm. I don't think that's the one I'm looking. No, because that's got DMX in it too. Apparently, he repaired with DMX for a movie. Where is the movie I'm looking for?
There you go.
Yay! No, that's not it either. Steven Seagal's family gets murdered in so many of his movies.
Yeah. You'd think he'd have them trained by now.
You would think. I can't remember when this movie came out. But he was like sheriff in a town that some lobster was going to go through to get to Mexico.
Nope, doesn't ring a bell. Sorry.
I'll find it. I know it's in there somewhere. And it's recent. It's just none of these names are popping up.
Give yourself more clues. Type in Steven Seagal sheriff.
Yeah. Nope, that one is in Bucharest. I don't need him in Bucharest.
So Virginia will be at church. That's no big deal. That's fine.
Yeah, you're allowed to go to church. We don't mind. Okay. Come on. Why is this so difficult?
Maybe you're not supposed to know.
Shush, Mom.
Do I always have the mom answer?
Yes.
Please, William. Oh, Lordy. So what are you doing today besides channel surfing, Miss Virginia? Anything fun, interesting, new?
Anyone lost in the land? See, rabbit hole. Apparently, with Steven Seagal did a reality series called Lawman, in which he was deputized into, I believe it was Louisiana Sheriff Deputy.
Okay.
Apparently, there were a few questions about him being a little too rough with people. So he resigned his reserve duty deputy post.
Imagine that.
Yeah, apparently he's been sworn in a lot of places. He's in New Mexico, Louisiana, Texas.
I don't know.
Your idea of just typing in Steven Seagal Sheriff didn't work because I come up with all this information about that show and him being deputized everywhere.
Please, William. Take your ass back in the other room. Come with me.
I can't find it. Maybe it wasn't him in it, but I could have sworn it was.
Okay, no more Steven Seagal. Get out of that rabbit hole. Reverse.
Why? Are you all by yourself?
Now I'll sit here and be quiet and watch TV while you're in a rabbit hole, just like I did when we're on our own.
No. And
You're getting closer to your 3 hours.
I know.
You're what, 3.5 minutes.
Maybe I want to go over 3 hours.
Well, it's your show. You play it however you want.
It's my show. I'll do what I want to, Mom. No, I probably will end it at 3 hours. Because otherwise Kevin would be like, really, Kodi? And speaking of, missing Kevin too.
Yeah. No sugar tits today either.
No sugar tits. We love you, sugar tits.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't give me any way to contact him, so I couldn't let him know I was going live.
True. But that's all right.
Sorry.
It's all good. We love him.
Yes, we do. Yes, maybe he'll see that you're live tomorrow and come on there.
Maybe.
Or at least come chat in the chat.
Uh-huh. But yeah. So no Wendy. We didn't have Wendy come visit us. And we didn't have Sugar Tits come visit us.
My Wendy abandoned me today.
Who else didn't come visit us today?
Christy hasn't been here.
True. Lisa didn't come visit us today either.
Nope. Everybody's busy. Too busy for Kodi. That's okay. I fully appreciate other people having a life.
Yeah.
Come back and tell me all about it because I have to live vicariously through other people.
Right? I don't know. I might go down another rabbit hole today. I might go visit Amazon.
Uh-oh. Look out.
Yep.
Oh, my son carried in my fan, right? In the box.
Uh-huh.
He's just like looking at it. I was like, that one's mine. I said, you can put that directly in the craft room, please. And he's like, it's exactly like the one he stole from me. He's got mine in his room, blowing air directly at him.
Yeah.
I'm like, the Toxic Twins wrecked two of the box fans that we had. So those are out on the porch currently because my son apparently is not taking them down to the curb with their space heater that he kicked in. I don't know why that's still on my porch. I'm like, get it off of there. It's not ours. I don't want it on there.
Well, yeah, and if it's any kind of metal, if you put them at the curb on trash day,
Yep.
most scrappers will come by and pick up anything metal.
Yep. Oh, yeah, we have scavengers that come by and they'll grab all kinds of stuff. Now that I'm thinking about it, they're probably resellers. They probably are resellers, you know what I mean? The people that come by and just grab. I mean, the people that live down the street, their house is cleaned up now.
Oh, yeah.
But they had so much stuff in their yard, it looked like they were constantly having a really messy yard sale.
I've seen houses like that.
Right after Codes was bitching about my truck, their yard ended up getting cleaned up. So I think Codes went after them for that.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that got hit by the stupid code people.
Yeah. Code enforcement come through and
Yeah.
some shit went down.
Yeah, I still don't know if that car is still on my property or not.
Oh, that one, the Toxic Twins.
Yep. Nobody's told me whether it's still there or not. I'll have to ask my son. Because the landlord had said that he was going to try and call some people to come get it. I never heard anybody come get it. But then, you know, I'm used to going to sleep with my son gaming at volume 110. So,
Yeah.
and then him bitching that he gets woken up by me. I'm like, aw,
That was funny.
poor baby. Yeah, in case people don't know what we're talking about. Day before yesterday, I asked my neighbor to go get me some cigarettes. And of course, I'm talking to him while he's, at the door. And my son's dog, of course, barks at everyone. So my son got woken up. And I said something about having a problem with something. He goes, really? I seem to have a sleeping problem. I'm like, really? That's too bad. And that was it. And he just looked at me and he's like, I mean, that boy has woken me up so many times, or I have not been able to get to sleep because he is yelling at his gaming shit. And and almost everybody has heard him when I've been live, like when I was on live on the Big British Assholes channel, which I call him to his face, so don't anybody go and telling tales. Actually, no, I call him the big Brit fucker, is what I call him. Yeah, and my son's been gaming, and everybody can hear him, and I'm like, oh crap. So he's done it when I've been live.
You call him a bag of dicks, and then I call him a Satchel Richards.
Yes. Yes. So, I don't really care if I wake him up. It's daytime. He keeps me up until, sometimes 3, 4 o'clock in the morning if I am trying to sleep and he's gaming really loud. He usually starts gaming around midnight because that's when Hector has gotten home and settled down and starts gaming. And they'll be gaming for hours. And my son will be screaming at all his teammates. Very colorfully. So, I mean, if I'm able to fall asleep while he's making all the noise, then I don't hear the noise. But if I fall asleep, like if I fall asleep at 11 o'clock, I'll get woken up at 1 o'clock from him screaming at something because it's a sudden noise. So, yeah, I don't care. Yesterday, there was a knock on the door. It was very soft. It was like tap, tap, tap. His dog started barking before the tap, so I knew somebody was on the porch. So I messaged my son because I knew he was still awake. I was like, someone knocked on the door. And apparently he pulled the curtain up and looked, and he's like, there's no one on the porch. So it must have been the softest knock on the planet. Well, it was.
Uh-huh.
And I'm thinking that's probably my package, because then I saw the mail truck, our mail Jeep go down. And I was like, that's my package from Tina. I know what's in that package. I want my package. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. I was so sore from getting in. I had to get in and out of the wheelchair the other day 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
And my back and my knee were pretty much done. And my leg hurt from the wheelchair biting me. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. And I got in the chair and I went out there, and sure enough, it was a package. And they had left it right next to the door. But it was heavy enough that I couldn't grab it with the grabber. What I had to do was flip the grabber over so it wouldn't collapse, because it folds. Flip the grabber over, hold the handle upside down, put it so that the 2 prongs hook the corner, and move it, and then move it, and manipulate it over to the door, and then have it against the door frame and lift it and then grab it. And I'm like, I almost fell out of the wheelchair.
I'm going to have to get you one that has a hook on the end of it or something so that you can stab that cardboard and pull.
Yeah. So I was like, oh my God. And I just gotten it inside, and I'm sitting there, I'm smoking a cigarette, like, oh my God, that hurt. And Donnie from across the street pops out of his truck. I think he was sitting in there smoking a joint. And pops up and starts walking across the street. And I'm like, so I opened the door wider. I was like, what's up, Donnie? He goes, you need help with that box? I saw the mail lady. She should have knocked on the door. I said, she did. And he was like, didn't your... Because he knows better than to say, didn't your son go get it? Yeah. And I was like, yeah. I said, I managed to get it. It hurt, but I got it. He's like, oh, you already got it. And he stopped. And I was like, but could you do me a big favor and grab the mail for me? Because when I checked to see if your package said delivered, I checked my other things, the 2 things from Amazon.
Yeah.
They've both been delivered yesterday.
So they'd been sitting out there since.
They sat out there overnight. And I'm like,
yeah, it was still all there.
So yeah, they were both there. And so he's like, oh yeah, no problem. He goes, how come they don't bring your mail to the door? I'm like,
you need to have a mailbox.
Yeah, I'm
at the house, on the house.
But in order to do that, the landlord won't do that. So in order to do that, I would have to get the mailbox and put it up myself.
A, they're not that expensive, and B, Donnie would probably do it. It only takes 2 screws on the side of the house.
Well, I'd have to ask the landlord too if I could do that, because it's putting holes in the house. you know. And the other problem is I can't get out of my house to go get it.
You can order one.
Huh?
A mailbox.
No, I mean, I can't get out of my house to get the mail. Even in that mailbox, it has to be on the side of the house. I can't get out my door because the door jam. I don't know what size of the, like height of those little ramps. It's not, the outside is probably about 3 inches, maybe 2 or 3 inches. And the inside's only like an inch or less. But the thing is those little ramps that you put so that you can go over the door jam, they're freaking expensive. They're like $80 a piece. I'm like, what the hell? So I can't get out of my house on my own. Because believe me, there are plenty of nights that I would love to be able to just go out and sit on the porch for a while, even with the pain from the wheelchair, just to be able to be outside. You know what I mean? Outside. And I can't. The most I can do is sit in the doorway with the door open like this much so the dogs don't get out. So, and I mean, I could ask the landlord to put something in there, but I don't know if he'd do it. I don't know.
Well, too bad you didn't have a mail chute on the front door.
Yeah, but then the other problem is picking the mail up off the ground. I mean,
No.
I can squish it with the grabber, but that still wouldn't help with packages. You know what I mean? If I'm able to get out of my door, that would be a whole lot better. And if I could get one of those trays for my wheelchair, I'd be golden because I can put stuff on it to transport it. As it is now, I have to hold it in one hand, wheel with the other, and use my leg with my bad knee to get to my wheelchair to where I need to go. It's very painful. But I did manage to get all the crap in my room by myself. I hurt today, but I did it. So I got mine. There you go. Oh.
So yeah, anyhow, you got a package that was from me.
I got your package with my goodies, thank you. And I got my micro SD with my little card reader thing on it.
Yep.
In it. And I got my what's supposed to be a vape pen, but it's listed as an aromatherapy pen type of thing. But you're supposed to be able to use it as a vape pen. I don't know if this is gonna work, but it's cute, shiny. I'll show you. Comes in this cool little flip box with a magnet. And it's little. See? Little. But this little cap comes off, and then there's like a little silicone nipple that goes in it. And I'm thinking that's so in case you lay it this way with fluid in it, because this is a tank that you can put juice in or you can put oils in. And it works the same way. I mean, you click the little thingy multiple times to turn it on, and I don't know. We'll see. If it doesn't work as a vape, I have a tiny little aromatherapy thingy that I could use to make my room smell pretty when I get oils for it. Either way. But I would imagine if it works the same as a vape to heat up the oils to get them out, that if you put juice in it, you could vape with it, right?
Well, the review said that it could be used as a vape.
Yeah. So we'll see. It's something for when I run out of cigarettes so I don't have to buy cigarettes. It's why I want an e-cig or a vape pen like that, like small. If Amy's listening, Amy, can I have my box? I'm kidding, girl. Don't worry about it.
But, yeah. You had presents in your box from me.
I did. I had Star Wars presents. And I had cute, adorable little pens that I'm like, oh. And it was funny because I pulled out the kitty one first and then I pulled out the owl one. I was like, look, no matter where I go, I have I have Tina with me, and I have Willow with me. Yeah, even though a couple of them are pink.
That's how they come.
I was like, they're so cute. They're going in my craft room, in my cup. They are. Hopefully the cats won't steal them out of the cup, but the cats are not supposed to be in that room unsupervised anyway, so it should be okay. That's why once I get all this crap cleared out, I want the cat tree in my room.
Yeah.
So the cats aren't going crazy completely in there. There won't be as much for them to do, so they won't, And hopefully they won't do the 500 across my bed if they have something to occupy them.
True, but
So, because I definitely cannot afford another cat tree because that thing costs $70. 6 foot tall cat tree. Man, John spoiled the crap out of his cats, let me tell you.
yeah, cat trees are expensive.
Mm-hmm. He was like, I want one of those really cool ones with multiple layers and all this. And I was like, okay, I'll look for one. And I found one. And I was like, I don't know if you want to pay this for it, but here you go. And he's like, oh, that's awesome. He goes, Issa, buy this. And she did. And John and I put it together.
That's funny.
The thing's 6 feet high. It's taller than I am. It's Marty's domain. Marty loves that thing. And she will go into the top. It's supposed to have 3 little basket type of things at the top. It only has 2 because the top one was too high for me to even reach stepping on the little step stool thing. And John was in the wheelchair. He couldn't stand, so we couldn't get the top one. So that's just a scratch post. But Marty will go up and lay in one of those things and just observe her domain. She just stays up there. We walk in and we're like, where's Marty? And we're like, wait. And we look up and there she is.
He's right behind you.
Yeah. I mean, Onyx will go on it. She'll kind of move around on it a little bit. But Marty will be all over that thing. She's racing around on it and clawing it and and then she'll just climb up at the top and that's her spot.
I do. I love the kitties.
Yeah.
I am a cat person. I love dogs, but I'm a cat person.
I love both. I really do. I loved my ferret. I really did. That little clown was so entertaining and she was so adorable and I miss her. But I'm both. I mean, at one point we had 5 or 6 dogs. I lost track. But we also had puppies. And I can't even count how many puppies we had. But the most puppies we ever had at one time, and that's with 5 adult dogs, we had 10 puppies. So we had 15 canines in our house.
No, God, no.
And we had 11 cats. So, yeah, way too many. Way too many. But
yeah, no. Pass.
So I was very
hard pass.
I was very happy with just my dog, and then and my cat. Because I had Simmy and I had Wolfie. Marty just went over and started cleaning Simmy's ear. Simmy's like, Marty's going back to her box.
Okay.
But I had Simmy and I had Wolfie and I was good. And then I lost Wolfie and I was very sad because she passed. And then when John got these 2 cats, I mean, I really thought Onyx was going to bond with him because when they took her out of the cage at the animal shelter and he held her, she immediately went in his jacket and kind of behind him in the wheelchair, like safety,
Yeah.
And so I really thought she was going to bond with him and she didn't. She bonded with me almost immediately, and she'd go give him loves and she'd snuggle with him for a few minutes, but she didn't do what she does up on me. She didn't do that with him. That's why he was like, well, looks like you got adopted. Congratulations, have a cat.
Right?
Another living creature given to me for my birthday. And Marty bonded with both me and John, not Issa.
No.
And she would tolerate She would tolerate talent. Yeah, that bite in the ass was awesome. I wish I had gotten that on videotape. That would have gone viral, let me tell you. Instantly viral. That was the most awesome thing, one of the most awesome things I've ever seen. But she would tolerate Talon if Talon was very quiet and very still. and she would let him pat her and wouldn't bite him. I was very concerned about that because his energy is so chaotic.
Yeah.
But she's really good with him, and she likes my son. It's just Issa. It's literally just Issa. This cat tried to kill her. Like every time the girl came in the room, she tried to make her bleed.
Oh, that's funny.
And Issa would be like, "It was me that saw you. You wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for me." And the cat's like, "Yes, your job is done and over with. Thank you very much. Now I'm going to kill you."
Yep.
It's like you're no longer useful to me, even though she was the one feeding her.
I love it though. It cracks me up.
Yeah, I mean, when I had my blue shelves like kitty cornered, so there was only a little space there, so the dog couldn't get to the cat box, and I couldn't get out of my room. The cat would get up on top of the blue shelf and swipe at her when she went by. She'd literally go up, so she could take a couple of swipes. It was so funny. He says, like, I don't understand. I'm like, I'm sitting there
Animals
thinking,
know, damn it.
Cat's got good taste, yeah.
Like I said, animals, they know.
Mm-hmm. But that's why I wouldn't let her take Marty when John died. She was like, am I taking Marty? I'm like, no. Well, one, I mean, the two cats are used to having each other for company. And two, why would she want to take a cat that wants to kill her?
Right?
It would just mean more animosity, and eventually she would end up hurting the cat. And I'm like, no. Or the cat would end up back in the shelter. Especially if Marty didn't like, her boyfriend.
Yeah.
He's not going to tolerate that, So I was like, no, she'll stay. And John definitely would not have wanted Marty to go with Issa. Issa's one of those people that shouldn't have any pets or children. But luckily, Talon is getting very self-sufficient. So.
Yeah. I was happy when you got to see him that day.
I was too, and I haven't seen him since, and I miss him. I think it's funny I have a better phone than she does. She went to Walmart.
Yeah.
And she goes through like Walmart service or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I got a new plan. It's, lowered my bill a little bit. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I was like, I got a new plan. I said I cut my bill in half, and I got a new phone. I splurged on a new phone. And she goes, oh, I got a new phone too. It's really awesome. Da, 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 da. And I was like, oh, what'd you get? And she got a Samsung Galaxy A11, which is not as good as my phone. Because that's the one I was going to get.
Right.
Until I realized that the other one was like $50 more and had a better camera on the back of it. And I was like, I need the camera.
Yeah.
And it held, an SD card up to 512 megabytes, but I can't afford that big of a card. The one I did get, what is it? 128 gigabytes. So the phone will hold a memory card with 512. So I can improve it later. But right now, this one, and I got a Samsung one too. So, they have knockoff ones, but this was actually the best price for what I got, because I got the micro SD card, I got the adapter, and then I got can't see it. I got the little USB card reader thing, which takes two different size cards. Stupid plastic bags. Never gonna get this back in the bag. I can't read anything on the back of that. It's too small. But the USB, which I can't get open, has two different. Hold on, let me make me big. I hate making myself big, but
yeah,
it has two different card sizes.
Yep.
So, and this is my.
Yep. Nice.
Yeah. So I got a decent, and it was $22 and some change.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, for the whole little kit, and it's all Samsung stuff. So
it better work.
I know that you can use like non-name brand stuff and it works the same. I understand that. And normally I would do that, but this is stuff I don't know about.
Mhm.
So, and this saved me from getting a card reader because it comes with one. So, yeah. Because see, the card reader I actually have a card reader, but the connector.
Oh, so you said it's FUBARD.
Yeah, you can still use it. It reads, I think, 7 different size SD cards, including micro. So I can take those little tiny cards and stick it in there, and it will read it. But where you put the USB cord, the connection is fucked up because we're. Can I help you?
Mm-hmm. Hi, Marty. Marty says, "Hi, Mom." She has gotten so lovey lately, and I think it's great.
Lick my eyebrow.
I do. I love it. I think it's fabulous.
Okay then. Yeah,
We paused for Kitty Cat Lovin'.
yeah, temporary pause. When I was living in North Carolina, the crazy people in that house asked to borrow my card reader, and I don't know what the hell they did to it. If they stepped on it and bent the inside of the card reader itself, I do not know, but you have to wiggle it for the light to light up for it to actually read the card, and then hope it stays lit up so it continues to read. You have to get your stuff off it really quickly.
Yeah.
Which pisses me off because I paid like $30 for that when I got it. Because you pay a lot of money. It was probably about 15 years ago that I got it, and back then the multiple card readers were expensive, So this will do. And I just have to get the box with the little pokey thing so I can get that stupid crazy tray out of my. We're not going to go over what happened with that stupid tray.
You entertained me.
I did. Well, because to put the SIM card in, you have to take that dumb tray out of your phone.
Yeah.
And it went flipping, and I was like, oh my God, I think I lost it. And then I couldn't get the SD card to stay in it because I had the damn thing upside down. And I'm like, it won't stay in. How much is this thing? I need glue. I'm like, what the hell? I had to look on the manual that I have PDF file. I had to go through that, figure out which way the SD card was supposed to go because it said put it with the gold thing facing down. But that depends on which way you're holding your phone. I'm like, and then of course down, you still can go this way or this way with it. So I'm like, which way is it? Does it make a difference?
Yeah.
So I figured it out. And I got the SD card in it and got my service activated, and it's all good. But now I have to use the tray again to put the micro SD card in it. But I'm not taking that tray all the way up this time. I'm only taking that the tray out far enough to put the SD card in it, and that's it. Because I will end up losing the SIM card. It will flip out of that tray and go flying, and I will never see it again because it is like half the size. Tina saw it. It's half the size of that micro SD card. I'm like, not taking that out again. So.
My turn for kitty cat interruptions, but not as long as yours. She's beside me now.
All right, so I've gone 3 hours and 25 minutes, so I'm going to end this.
Thank you, dear.
I have like 3 people, I guess, watching right now. So for everybody that stuck by and is still here or that popped in and is here right now, have a great day, and we will see you around the tube, even though I have no idea who you are. And for anybody watching later, I hope you had a good day.
Yep. And I'll see you tomorrow. Happy Mother's Day.
Yep. Happy Mother's Day.
I don't see you tomorrow.
Everybody have a very good time and stay safe. Be safe. No more injuries. So tired of all these YouTubers getting injuries. Stop it. Just me, Kathy. This means you.
Oh, God. What did she do now?
No, she didn't. I just don't want her to hurt herself again.
Oh, God. Okay.
Did you see the score she came up with? The last video she did?
Oh, the makeup.
Oh my God, so much stuff and so much food. I was like, wow. It makes me want to go dumpster diving and I can't. So you kind of have to have transportation for that. And and both legs, it helps, you know.
It does.
It does. I already have a grabber. I have two. So anyway, bye everybody.
Bye, guys.
Be good. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Leaves your options completely open. Just saying.